Music. Okay. Phone. I need my phone. It's charging over here. Can't live without the phone. Nope. No, sir. There, that's the thing. Now go away Telegram. And the Twitter sphere. Where is my little notepad? A thing happened! Oh no, a thing happened. What thing? Dragon Prototype! Thank you so much for following the channel and welcome. I'm obviously just getting kind of set up here. What was I doing? Yeah, notifying Twitter. Oh, I like this song. I'm going to thumbs it up. Alright, Twitter is done. This I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, wow. Print. Make sure I have paper. No, I don't. Of course I don't. Give me a stack of paper. I'm gonna print out some orders here for some decals and shirts a little bit. Just want to get that kind of going. Deep. So, yeah, to answer your question, Dragon Prototype, I am doing Picardo and also kind of not doing Picardo. And there's a lot of reasons for this. I can sit and explain while I'm trying to also do work. Print those. Let me get this printed and then I'll kind of elaborate on that. Print. Cool. Alrighty, so yeah, I just got a bunch of new orders that came in today. This morning, I think. Yeah, it's all from 3 from this morning. So I'm gonna be busy for a bit. And then a couple from last night. Which, you know, I'm not complaining. Okay, so the deal with Picardo, and I just went over this with somebody on Twitter because they were also asking about if they were doing an art stream, you know, wouldn't it make more sense to do it on Picardo? And the answer is like yes and no. So I'm just gonna like pull up the notes that I wrote to them about that because it explains everything pretty well. So I really like Picardo. I particularly like the multi-streaming feature. It also has a couple cool in-stream channel features like doing raffles in the chat, which is really nice. You can still kind of emulate these things in other platforms with bots and things, but at least that's kind of integrated into Picardo, which is kind of unique. I think that's pretty cool. And you can do polls too, which you can do on most of the other platforms that are streaming focused. But so I've been premium on Picardo for about maybe 6+ years. I'm actually grandfathered into a little bit lower rate just because I've been with them for so long. But there's something that's bothered me from the beginning. Oh my gosh, hold on. What else is bothering me is this dang camera keeps trying to like refocus itself, and there's no reason why it should. Turn that autofocus off because it's driving me nuts. Okay, so so one thing that's bothered me from the beginning about Picardo is that you cannot embed the stream into any other website. So, you know, I can't show, if somebody happens upon my website, I can't show like, oh hey, I'm live and you can go check me out on Picardo here, or you can get a little preview of the stream, or anything that makes it more interesting or promotion of the stream to get people to come over to the platform. Their API does not allow for the embed because it's like a security issue that's built into the way that they've, you know, built the software from the ground up. They'd have to like start over in order to implement that feature. So they've not done it the entirety of like the 6 years that I've been supporting them, and you know, a lot of those money is just going specifically because I believe in the product. I want to support the developers, but I never got that from it, so I was like, dang, I was hoping. So that's one thing I don't like. But really quick, I wanted to say thank you for MetaZarZ for following the channel. Welcome. We're just kind of getting started up here. So we're talking about Picardo and why I don't stream there specifically. Like, that used to be my home base. But, so you can't embed external streams. Also, there's almost no third-party integration into the platform. It's very, very limited support. Things like Streamlabs, or its competitor that I use is Stream Elements. That's how you get all like the cool graphics on the screen that pop up, you know, like down here, like the follower goal and all these things on the event log. You don't have a lot of these features with something like Picardo, and Twitch is just king as far as the interactivity with your audience and doing all these neat things where people directly impact what happens on the screen through, you know, following, subscribing, tipping, or chatting in the chat room. And you can't integrate a lot of these things with Picardo. That means ultimately that there's a less profit potential, because a lot of these things have to do with, you know, getting like tips and supporting a stream with like bits, which is like specifically a Twitch thing only. It's like Twitch currency. Because that does other things on the platform besides just help support me a little bit financially. You know, you kind of give you a lot more audience tools. That's something that I really want to offer to make it more interesting and more engaging. Frosty! Hi! Thank you so much for following the channel, and welcome. So I'm ranting about Picardo right now. So the last thing, woo! Look at all these woos. So the last thing that really made me like really sad, is that I use a platform called Restream, and this allows me to stream one source to multiple platforms at once. It's kind of just like relays it for me. And so right now I am live on Twitch, but I'm also live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Picardo. And everybody can see me right now on all those platforms, but you can't chat with me. And you used to be able to, but you can't anymore, because Picardo has been dropped from Restream's support for multi-chat. And I was so sad, because that was a fantastic like bonus. It's the only like third-party integration that was really trying to work with Picardo's chatting tools, and now they don't. And I don't know if that's because they changed their API and now Restream can't integrate with it. Who knows? But suddenly it just disappeared from the lists of supported platforms, and it was very buggy to begin with. I had to constantly manually force it to like recheck and try to reconnect to the chat. What the multi-chat feature did is it took all the things that people were posting on YouTube, and all the things they were posting on Picardo, and all the things that people were putting on Twitch, and it combined them into one super chat, which would then get displayed on the screen so everybody could see everybody's comments. It doesn't matter what platform you were. So I didn't have to focus on just making one place my home base for audience interaction and chatting. But as soon as they dropped Picardo, I was like, well, now I have to pick a place, because it doesn't make sense to stream and get the chat to be combined in all the places except for one, which was my biggest like streaming place. You know, so I was like, well, heck, I gotta go with the one that offers me the most features for audience interactivity and chatting and potential of growth and getting some extra profit too, because, you know, why not? So the only answer for streaming was to focus on Twitch. And I've never really been a super huge Twitch fan until this year, where everybody started streaming because, you know, we're all in the freaking quarantine, and the number of like chat tools and audience interaction and like people going on the platform to watch and support artists and creators and gamers, like it all just like exploded. So I spent more time on Twitch, and then I finally got familiar with all of its features. I understood kind of like the culture of Twitch a little bit more. I understood what all these things are, and I go, oh, well, heck, I should have been doing this all along. Like, my eyes have been opened, like, to the possibilities of this world. So, as far as creative platforms goes, Picardo is still going to be number one for art specifically, because, I mean, their entire focus is art. So, anybody that's ever going to the site, all they want to do is watch artist art. You know, on Twitch, primarily it's a gaming platform, but they do have a relatively new creative section, which is what I'm streaming to now. Hopefully it's actually chose to stream to the crafters and makers stream today instead of the art channel. I'm still getting used to all these integrations and tools and fancy things on the screen. Like, this is all new to me. I've been doing streaming for like 10 years, and I started with Ustream, and then I went to Livestream, and then I went to Picardo. I guess that was the biggest, yeah, those are like big focuses, and now here I am on Twitch. I have to evolve with the times, so yeah. Thanks so much, Mass Badger, for following the channel. Welcome. I'm just kind of getting some things started. And I've been on my soapbox and not reading the chat like normal, because I suck. So let me kind of go through that real quick, because I got very distracted with the Picardo question, because I'm passionate about Picardo, and I'm sad that they have been dropping support for features rather than adding to them. Meh. I like these are really cute emoticons. Oh my god, we got 150 followers. You're right. Dude, nice. Thank you. You were number 150, Smash Bros. Well, now I have to change my follower goal again. You guys keep blowing them out of the water. Like, what the heck? Alright, so hello everybody. Hello, usuals that I keep seeing in here. Crystal, Zeroki, Ocean. Let's see. Oh, Elios is here. Hello. Good. I'm glad you're here because this is like half for you. And yes, Crystal's actually the one that helped me get this shirt, which is like perfect. I think it's very appropriate for me today. Because we're going to be crafty today. Oh, thank you again for that. I love this shirt. It's so good. So what is happening later with art-based plans and projects? That being commissions and collabs. Oh god, no! What happened? Zeroki, stop it! Stop aggressively loving me. Or, what is it? Aggressive generosity. That's what it is. Happy 150 followers, Riley. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Let me go back to the question. That being commissions and collabs, or will it be sorted out for next year? So, this stream, I believe, should be the final stream I need to unlock the affiliate tools and features on Twitch. What that means is I'm going to be able to start integrating some... Well, first of all, the biggest one that's going to unlock is that you'll be able to subscribe to the stream. That's just kind of another way to like support me every month. Like a mini version of Patreon, which gets you to unlock some cool things that you could do exclusive in Twitch chat, which is like play with custom emoticons, which are the things that you're seeing kind of flying around the screen sometimes. I'm going to do my own set of those, so you can use that to kind of like, you know, show that you support the stream and can interact and have it be a thing, because it's unique to my channel, if you're part of that. And then it'll start, you can now donate with Twitch currency, which is bits, which will do certain things like unlock hype trains, which will put you on like a leader scoreboard, so it keeps track of, you know, who's the best supporter. You know, whatever. It's just kind of different ways, like different little in-chat games and things that you can kind of play with and stand out in a way to like support me. Also, it's going to unlock a really cool thing. It's called like stream points, and this is the coolest thing because it's completely free for you guys. You don't need to spend your time, your money, but you do spend your time. So the longer you watch, the more points you accumulate, and then you could spend those points to do special things to me, to the stream, to the channel. A lot of people, like if they're like DJs, you could spend stream points to like change the color of lights that flash in the background, or you can maybe spend stream points to make the streamer do something, like give you a shout out, take a shot of alcohol, you know, like whatever. I'm not sure exactly what all the things I'm going to be doing yet are, but like it gives you the ability to like participate in the stream and me to interact with you on a more personal level. And those tools are only unlocked once you get affiliate status, which, again, I think today, with this stream, I will qualify for those benefits. So, thank you guys. I couldn't have done this all without you. And then, the stream in general, I'm just coming back from my big hibernation of... More people! Mortal Strike Rank, thanks so much. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate the follow. So, obviously, art. I draw, I make costumes, right now I'm focusing a lot on t-shirt designs and decal making, just because like I have a web store, I have, you know, it's work I have to do. You know, I do character design stuff, I do animation stuff occasionally, you know, just like a little bit of everything. So I just kind of want to like maybe make more of a schedule with streaming. It helps me kind of focus on work, half and half, because sometimes I get distracted by the chat, but it gives me a little bit more motivation when somebody's watching you. It's like having a boss, you know, coming by and checking up on your work. It's really hard to be your own boss, so you guys can kind of help me stay more on track with stuff and get caught up with stuff. I have a commission queue that I gotta get through, but once I start getting in a better habit of drawing again, because I really haven't done a lot of drawing this year, I'm really rusty, and that's bad. It's very bad. But I would like to be able to offer in-stream commissions. Another thing that will be awesome is I want to be able to do like giveaways in the stream. Need to figure out like all the criteria I want to do for qualifying for that, but I'm thinking about having sort of an overall goal, and you can support that goal by tipping, by subscribing, by hosting the stream on your, you know, channel to get more watchers. You know, any way that it kind of helps promote the stream and help me out a little bit. It'll fill up. I'm gonna try to build or commission somebody to program this bar that'll get slowly filled up. And when I reach that goal with, you know, a certain number of followers or, you know, donations or whatever it is, then I'll do like a all big stream like giveaway, whether it's gonna be like free art or a free sticker decal or, you know, something. I don't know. Those are just some thoughts I've been playing around with, but I couldn't do any of these things until the tools were unlocked. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time this weekend trying to figure out, like, where do I want to take this stream next? Because I want to do all the things. All of them. And I'm just kind of read through the chat a little bit. Because I'm terrible at just talking and not reading. I'm sorry. It's not through the alcohol for me. Yeah, with Zeroki and Crystal constantly giving me tips in the chat. Like, if I based on tips, like, I would get drunk really fast. We don't need that. I do need to actually get some work done on occasion for these streams. Yeah, like my crazy re-debut stream was a fantastic stream. It was not productive at all, but the point was I'm glad that you guys had a lot of fun. I love these cute Ken stickers. They're so good. I'm gonna have to follow her on Twitch. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not in that loop yet. I need to find all of the cool artists that are doing things on Twitch, because I've always focused so much on Picardo. Another thing I love about Twitch is the ability to raid other channels. So when you're done streaming, you can find somebody else to like take the party and move it elsewhere and give somebody, you know, a lot of, you know, outreach, like promotion. Just be like, hey, check out this cool friend and what they're doing. And it's like a way to like share the love around. And no other platform does that except Twitch, and I think that's like the coolest feature ever. Oh, Dragon Prototype! You are Black Dragon! Okay, that makes way more sense, because it's hard to keep up with everybody's names. You need a little VIP icon next to your name, because you are one of my Patreon supporters. At least, I believe you're Black Dragon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Aggressively supporting friends. You guys are so sweet. I love hopping into my friends' streams too. It's just like this day and age. It's like the only way you can like have that personal connection that you used to get by seeing friends, you know, on the weekends or at conventions. And it's just like, man, this year sucks. I don't get any of that. So I really miss streaming, and I didn't realize how much until I started up, yeah, like last week, and got like the best welcome back ever. And I know a bunch of you were there for that, and you made me cry, and it was like awful and wonderful at the same time. So, yeah, get Kaz in here. I want to say hi to Kaz. Yes, Frosty is married to a griffin. It is going to be a griffin party. Hashtag aggressive generosity. It has to be a thing now. We've already coined our first stream thing. And a lot of people honor stream things, you know, crazy events and things that are inside jokes that happen in the stream, by incorporating that into like their like a little custom emotes and things like that. So I have to do something that acknowledges aggressive generosity, because that was like such a special moment in this stream. So yeah, if you have any other ideas or suggestions about how I can kind of improve all this, you know, what you want to see from me, like, lay it on me, because I'm doing a lot of experimenting right now and trying to figure all this out, and yeah, it's exciting and it's new and it's kind of also intimidating, and it's just like, I want to do all the things, and I'm back and I'm ready to like do stuff again. And I'm gonna be like moving all my stuff. I'm currently living with one of my best friends down in Texas, and next month I'm finally going back home to Colorado, which I'll have way better internet there too, so I should be able to even maybe, not like the quality of the stream is terrible right now, but I should be able to have a little bit more reliable connection, and hopefully that might help. Sometimes when I'm trying to draw and I've got a lot of like tabs open, a lot of processes going on the computer, you know, it's kind of meh. But I think I might try to maybe boost the RAM on the computer a little bit, see if that helps. And having a more reliable connection for the internet should also really help make the whole stream performance go better. So, you know, I'm just always looking ways that I can improve stuff. So, Kazal! Hello, friend! Thanks for Rusty for dragging her in here. Now I can say hi! Thanks so much for following. Woo! You guys are the best. You are the tag team of Chaos, Zero, and Crystal. Jesus. A flying amount of money. Yeah, so like I want to do something like when somebody tips, you know, so obviously I have the like explosion emoticons, but I can also trigger other events like different animations to play, sound effects to happen, you know, whatever I want. I can, you know, make it rain money down from the sky, like, and it, like a dragon's like swimming through it. I don't know, whatever. Like, we can have a lot of fun with this stuff, but you know, it's gonna be a lot of things that I'm building like from scratch. I kind of threw this sort of layout setup a little bit thrown together. Like if you zoom in on the actual file like full res, you can see how like messy it really is. Like I just needed to drop something, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. Like as you know, I've been working with it a little bit. So, but yeah, like there's since I last streamed, the number of like features you can integrate into the stream and have audience interactivity has just like exploded. I can't believe it. And so, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, what all I can do and all I want to do in my streams, but I want to make this fun for you guys. You know, I want to give you a reason to, like, sit there all day and listen to me or watch me do stuff because, you know, I mostly just need some company while I'm working. And I want to, you know, share that time with you guys and have that connection again. But, like, it's also, like, I'm doing this for your guys' benefit as much as my own. Like, it's a trade-off here where, you know, we're giving each other love. So however else I can help, you know, give you guys love and make the stream more cool to hang out with, you know, I'm all for that. I want to integrate a lot more Discord things in as well, and give the ability for like Patreon supporters to maybe be special guests on the stream, and they can chat with me while I'm working. You know, something. The possibilities are endless. Yes, everybody is now an honorary Griffin. We're going to join the Griffin party because today I'm working on Griffin stuff. at the request of Elios Griffin, because every time I bring out the Griffin suit, he like goes crazy because he's also a Griffin. So it's Griffin time. It's Griffin time. Oh yes, I can't wait to get your Persona pin. Oh my god, Bird. Oh my god, I have to support Ken Ken now. I have to say Bam Bird emotes. That's so good. Thank you for sharing all these. They're great. Oh yeah, I'll tell Jess you said hi, but she's at work right now, so we know when she comes back, which will probably be an hour and a half from now. Yeah. Yes, it is Black Dragon. Okay, cool. I would like to try to sit down and do some drawing stuff together sometime. Like, that could be another thing that we do, or stream even. Alright, so let me add you really quickly before I, like, forget, to my Twitch VIPs. Everybody who's a Twitch VIP is somebody who supports me on Patreon. Go to my dashboard, community roles. There we go. Add new. One word, Dragon Prototype. You are a VIP now. Alright. There you go. Now you have a pretty little icon, so everybody knows you're special. Aha! Tiamat! Or Tiamat, or Tia, or Sam. I still don't know what to call you. Just all your names. Griffin, well, that's almost a lion. Yeah. Sure you'd like that if I worked on a lion instead, huh, Ska? Jazzerdog, hi! That's a name I haven't seen in a bit. Welcome to Crazy Stream. I mean, it's always a stream chaos. So, now that I've talked for like a half an hour and done nothing, now I just kind of like to let people have a chance to sort of trickle in here. I'll get to start working in just a second here. Griffin time. Oh! I don't know if it's Ina or Ina Dragon? E-I-N-A. I believe you're also one of my Patreon supporters, aren't you? Because I believe that you just subscribed not that long ago. Yes! Hi! This is like the first time we've officially like met, kind of. That I recall at least talking to you. But it's just so hard to keep up with, you know, all the usernames of people. So I also have to throw a shiny little diamond badge at you. I'm glad you can make it to the stream. Let me go back to this thing. Because most of my Patreons are on Telegram, and I don't believe that you have a Telegram. So I'm hoping to make more use of Discord, because I know you're on the Discord. And that will, again, from today getting the affiliate features, I should be able to do a lot more like Discord-y things too. So, I'm on community, Rules Manager. Add you. What are you? Eat. Say. Cool. Alright, now you're special. And then, yeah, that. Oh, you do use Telegram. You have a Telegram? You have to tell me what your second Telegram is. You can at me on Telegram. I can be found as Mythimorph. Poke me, and I will add you to that chat, okay? Alrighty. Otterly Tiffin is here. Hello! I really enjoyed hanging out in your stream earlier. Like, you are on fire. Holy shit. You gave me a lot of ideas of things to do with the stream. Like, I had a really good time. Like, I'm coming back. Obviously, I subscribed and everything, but, like, yeah, that was really cool. It was a good way to start my day. Like, it gave me, like, so much better start and, like, positive energy. So, thank you for that. Is a way to do live collabs. Someone draws and they send it to you, or you draw in different colors. So, actually, Zeroki, yes, there is a way to do this. And actually, Dragon Prototype here in the chat, and I, way back in the day, used to do these, like, drawing collabs with a software that's called Open Canvas. And it's, like, a Japanese software, and you can, like, trick it to work with a network connection. You trick it, because it's an older program. It's set up for doing, like, LAN connection, where basically you connect two computers together on the same network, and you share a canvas. You're drawing on different layers, but you can kind of, like, draw in real time together on the same, you know, canvas. And it's really awesome, really, you know, it's a piece of art software that's been around forever. But you can trick it to treat the LAN connection as, or you could treat, like, a network connection, like, through the internet as a LAN connection, so that you can actually make the software work for more of a modern use of the time. But, yeah, I haven't played with Open Canvas in quite a long time, but that is something that you can do to draw with people, and you can make a big party of it. I don't know how many participants that you can have at a time. I think it's like 4, but I haven't played with it in so long. Dragon Prototype would know. He was the one that kind of got me into that. This was like a decade ago, I think, was when we really were messing around with it, like when I was in high school. But, I mean, it still holds up to this day, and it supports, like, pen pressure and stuff, so, yeah, it's nice to draw with. So, yeah, that's actually a really cool idea for something you can do, like, as a way to interact with people, like, have a guest drawing day or something. If anybody happens to, you know, be an artist and wants to, like, it's kind of like the only other way I can make a multi-stream work with Twitch. Because unfortunately you have to be a Twitch partner in order to unlock the multi-stream features, like what you can get on Picardo, where you have two people's streams up at the same time and then they share the same chat and they share the viewers and stuff. Yeah. I'm never gonna get Twitch partner. There's like no way. I have to become like a life dedicated streamer, and I'm not going to do that. But I mean, that'd be neat if it, cool. But then I have, and one of the caveats of that is if you get partnership, you are stuck exclusively streaming to Twitch. You cannot do the multi-stream thing where you have a mirror go out to YouTube and to Picardo and to Facebook and all that. You can't, because you're actually, if you make a deal with them, they give you all these special exclusive premium features in exchange for your exclusivity and bringing people to the platform, which in turn make them money. So they want money. They make money. That's what they do. So that. But yeah, actually that's a really good idea. See more. Yeah, keep weird suggestions coming. Yeah. The Tyranitar Project stream. Oh man. Oh, I got a bot in here that's advertising shit. Go away. Hello from in bed. Yeah, okay. I'm very bad at keeping up with the chat. I'm terrible. It wasn't a great stream. Well, I thought it was great, so shh. I'm sorry you have a headache. I hope that feels better. And yes, your hair is awesome. I had dyed my hair about this time last year, professionally for the first time ever, and I made blue and purple tips. And I usually spike my hair up when it's a little bit longer, and it was awesome. But man, is it hard to maintain. So I don't know if I'll do it again, but I liked it a lot. All right, cool. You'll try memes at everyone's sonas. That sounds good. Cat, out of here. Cats. I like cats, but I can't be near cats because I'm allergic, so they're not allowed in my room. Alrighty. That's enough talking. Blech. Oh, affiliates have a contract 24-hour exclusivity? Oh, I didn't know this. Thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna have to look into it more and read everything that I can and cannot do as affiliate, because again, they're all new tools that I haven't messed with around before. And and that is my essentially intention, if Twitch becomes this thing that really helps me grow, and that's what's nice about Twitch, is that there is so much potential for growth compared to Picardo. You're really limited to your audience there, but here it's so much more open. And if it comes down to it where I have to really focus on just doing Twitch, then I will. So be it. By that point, I would think that, yeah, that would be, in my favor anyway, but thanks for letting me know about that. Alrighty, now I'm done talking. So, leggies. Leggies, one second. I'm going to change the slideshow to show the leggy project. Change to leggy folder. Leggy folder. Okay. Hopefully that worked. Yeah! Except that I really hope that you get partner, because, heck, that would be really, really, really cool. Okay, so, yes, leggy project. Let me go get the leggies. Some of you saw this on the crazy fursuit shenanigans stream I did on Monday. Let me change the camera a little bit. So as you can kind of see on the screen, I have been working on a griffin fursuit for 3 years. It's a personal project of mine. And it's been a partial for a long time. But I'd like to actually build it into a full suit. So this is the template that I'm working with right now to give me some digigray legs. This is obviously kind of rough, but I will be using it for patterning off to get the final pattern that I can build, pillows that go around the leg and stuff like that. So, kind of get an idea of sort of what it looks like with the illusion padding of having an animal leg, but I'm standing, flat-footed on the floor. That's the goal, is to make it really comfortable. But I've always been a huge advocate of the idea of transforming, and when you get into a costume, I want to hide the human body as much as possible and really, bring out the character the creature, and it helps a lot personally for me in my performance. And that's why I really like full suits a lot more than partials. Partials are incredibly comfortable, but they're also very casual. Whenever I'm in like a full suit, I like go all out. And so it's been a long time since I had a full suit, and I really, really miss it. So I've been very slowly kind of working on this project. I have all of the fur. Obviously, I have the head done. I have the arms. I've got some wings that are failed wings because the magnet backpack idea didn't quite work. We have to kind of re-experiment with that. But so I'm going to be working on sculpting this and, you know, slimming it out a little bit more and not making it so blocky. It's slowly but surely kind of getting there, but I haven't touched this project in about a year. So I'm going to be starting to work on that some more. All of my work in progress images, by the way, for the entire build are on my Patreon. So if anybody's interested in kind of seeing more behind the scenes stuff or learning kind of all the steps that it took to put this together, I'm very, very good at documenting stuff. I love it. I love documenting progress. And I love work in progress stuff. I love seeing behind the scenes when it comes to, like, you know, how movies are made and things like that. This has always been a passion of mine. So I want to share that with you guys as much as I can. Alright, here's my beautiful foot. So yeah, as you can kind of see, not right now, but in this box on the side of the screen, it'll show every other picture will be showing what I'm kind of working on right now, which is obviously a griffin that's based off of a tiger and a falcon. And I'm not looking forward to doing a bunch of tiger stripes, but yeah, you know, that's the way it is. And most people know this, whenever I design a concept art for a character that I'm building, I always draw it over a silhouette of my own body, which is the entire inspiration behind my logo and my metamorphic product line for the decals and the shirts of having like a person inside of a creature. It's because, like, I actually use that as the blueprints for the final products that I make. So I drew the picture, now you can see it on screen, and there is like a person silhouette in that bottom left one. That's actually my body, and I can see exactly like the shapes that I want to build off of my form. And I'll take those pictures that I've drawn, and Leggy blow it up to scale and print it out and reassemble it and use that as a template pattern. So that's what this bag is. All the leggy pieces. And I sort of printed out, and then I decided, you know what, I want to slim this down a little bit more than when I originally drew it. So I've been sort of kind of working, and, you know, once you're seeing something in 3D, a lot of times you make executive decisions of changing things just because it's, you know, once you see it in a 3D space, it's not the same as a 2D space. And you can kind of tweak it to match your vision a little bit more. So that's what I've been kind of slowly doing, is sort of tweaking this to match my vision for the suit. Come here. It's stuck to the bag. There. So the only problem is I'm kind of a little bit shooting myself in the foot with this, is I do not have a modern, intact, good quality duct tape dummy anymore, which I did originally when I kind of started this project, but kind of fell apart, and most likely my body has changed since then, since that was like 3 years ago. So it's a little harder if you don't have a form to build on. So I cannot make the final pillow patterns. Maybe it would be so much easier if I had a dummy to work on, but I do have my real leg, and I have a mirror, and that may be enough. We'll figure out whether or not I get frustrated enough to the point where I'm like, okay, I gotta make a dummy to get any further on the project, but at least I have my own leg to work with. I'm just gonna kind of throw this on the floor. I'm gonna switch camera feeds here. Nope, just kidding. This camera feed. I'm gonna take you guys over to the floor, and so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm going to kind of lay this out. I don't have the inside leg piece anymore. And originally, it did kind of make the negative space was what I put like around the dummy, which was just my bare leg. And so all I did when I started this is each one of these foam pieces, like you can kind of see on the side view, this shape for the is exactly this pattern piece from the side. So I started with just making foam bits of each of these pattern pieces, which is again taken directly from my drawing around my leg, and I kind of matched it and recreated that in real life by building this sort of dome sleeve and put it around the leg form and started slowly sculpting it together. So what I'm going to do right now is focus not so much on the leg because it's sort of only half self-supporting itself and it's going to be really hard to carve at it while it's on my leg, but I'll see what I can do with that. But I know what I can do for sure is work on this foot some more because it is incredibly blocky and it's incredibly huge. I'm going to slim it down a lot. Hello, Kaze, the alien. I really hope I'm saying that right. It wasn't ever made clear last time how to pronounce Kaze, but I believe that's correct. Please help me if I'm wrong. Yeah, hind paws are huge. I know, this is actually not ridiculously huge for a lot of feet paws. But the thing is with tigers, as being big cats, they have humongous front paws, but very dainty back feet. And so I'm like, you know, I gotta slim this down a little bit more. Yay, I did say it right. Cool, thank you. Alright, you are now Kaze forever. So I have some shitty scissors. And I'm gonna take my phone, which will have the chat up. And I'll take it down on the floor with me so I can try to better keep up with the chat while I'm away from the computer screen. Eventually, I do have a laptop, but it would be really nice if I had a tablet for this. Because it'd be a bigger screen. I don't have to be like, look at my phone up close every time. Man, it's been so long since I've done like crafty things on stream and have to like worry about, you know, what angle I'm doing things at so you can see what I'm actually doing. I'm not blocking anything. What the heck did I do there? I'm not sure why it got like pinched like that. Doesn't really matter much though. So I've been kind of debating. I mean, it's easy to kind of do a lot of things with foam. I'm really used to carving with foam, but I've been debating making this out of clay instead. Basically, I want to make the toes out of cast foam, which I think I have an example of in the closet here. I do. Alright, so this is not my foot, but this is what I want to effectively build. So this is the large feline feet that you can get from Dream Vision Creations. And it's made out of cast flex foam, so it's squishy. But it gives you a way that you can, you know, you can recreate, like, once you've built one, you can just cast it over and over and over again. So you don't have to sculpt it from scratch every time, especially if it's a piece that you're going to be using for multiple projects maybe in the future or something. And it also helps make pieces, you know, symmetrical. That's the biggest challenge when it comes to, like, sculpting with foam, or building anything really in 3D, is making everything symmetrical. So if you spend one time making one sculpt really, really nice, then you could just duplicate it on the other side. You can kind of do the same things with creating like foam patterns, like it's building out an EVA foam. You can kind of make it and then flip the pattern. And that's how this head was made with the EVA foam. That's why it's really nice and symmetrical. And it's super lightweight and it's nice, and I want to work with EVA foam so much more. Like, all the cool materials and tools that are now being developed for the modern day fursuit maker and cosplayer are just insane. Like, I wish I had all this shit to start out with, but now it's like, man, I'm behind the curve. Now I'm overwhelmed. Now I have to catch up because, like, I'm behind. No, this is not your toy. You don't, no, it's a cat's toy. Dog! Dog is checking me out. Like, what are you doing on the floor? Oh god, that hand and feet paw tutorial. Do not look at it. Do not follow my advice. It's the worst. I didn't know what I was doing. That was literally the first time that I ever made feet paws, and I decided, you know, I'm documenting my progress, but I made it, presented it as if it was like a tutorial to tell you how to build something, but in reality, it was more just an explanation about what I was doing, and I was not the authority on said making thing, because it was literally my first time ever doing it. It was like all my best guess, and there's just so many better ways to make it, but it's not terrible for like a beginner's fursuit, you know, project. It's not the worst thing ever. It just makes me cringe because it's so old, and there's just a lot of advice that I give that's like, oh, but you could do it this better way and it would be so much better, etc. Ah, Brady's in here. Hello! Dog, please. Let's give you an arm mount for webcam I could adjust on the fly. That would be nice. I want to get a better stream setup. Again, I'm not at my house, so I've got limited, you know, tools and things and space. Like, I'm not in my craft room, I'm in a guest bedroom. I sleep here, my computer is here, I have this tiny little space to do all my crafting, and it's not ideal. But that will be changed very soon. And again, like, I'm always looking for ways I can kind of improve the stream and stuff. And yes, I agree, Jess needs to make parrot toast. And yeah, 3D sculpting programs, as Dadis slides into the chat, of course you would say that, but I truly really want to get into 3D programs for the same reason of just, man, does it help with symmetry so much. Okay, so before I start attacking this with scissors, I'm going to try to find a Sharpie and kind of give myself a guideline for slimming this down a little bit. So I want to, I'm actually going to put this on my leg because I'm going to also kick the dog out. Get out! I'm tired of the dog trying to lick me in the face. You can't see it very well because, yeah, I'm kind of over here, but, I guess I could use more this space instead. There's a little bit more room. I really wish I had my duct tape dummy. Oh, you don't know what you got until it's gone. Me. The leggies. No, I'm not a Texan now. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, you've been here all along. Okay. Well, you're not wrong. 3D modeling is, like, again, one of the biggest new tools to have come out that helps integrate, you know, better techniques and workflow into the crafting fandom. And I want a 3D printer and want to get back on board with 3D software, but man, it taught me a lot in college, and I'm just like dreading having to like learn it all again from scratch. Ugh. It's a little bit loose on my leg now. Okay, so definitely it's way too fat on the sides. Also, this exploded out the back, so I'm gonna tape that sort of back into place. It's not supposed to be like that. Duct tape will fix it. Duct tape fixes everything. This is very rudimentary. This leg is not, like, the foam is not going inside the final costume. This is just so I can build a template pattern that I can wrap tape around and get a duplicate of the surface area, just like you do for furring stuff. I just want to build what the outside shape is, and then I will create some like different kinds of padding under different materials for filling the negative space between my leg and the outer shape of the fur. So, let me take this off so I can get access to repairing this really sad, poor seam that ripped open. This was all glued together. I just used like a really cheap pattern paper, sort of like create sort of like coveralls material. Just something to protect my legs, you know. Something to glue things to, so I wasn't gluing things to my actual legs. And not ruining a pair of like really nice spandex pants or something. So. This is going to be a really sad hack job. But it doesn't matter. I think I'm gonna maybe tape it from the inside. Might be better. Yeah. That's better. I'm not adding any foam. I'm only taking away foam, so I'm not heating up my glue gun or anything. I'm just gonna work with scissors. Hopefully I don't accidentally cut too much off and then I have to add it. Then I gotta go find Jess's hot glue gun. Okay. Now the seam is sort of closed back up again, so I just have to be careful that I don't rip it anymore when I take it on and off my leg. See, that's what I have you for, Dennis. I'd be like, help me do the 3D printing thing. Like, I can figure out the sculpty thingy on my own, but I have no idea how to sculpt or prepare something with the intention for 3D printing. And that's like the biggest hang up I have. I just need somebody that knows what they're doing to hold my hand and be like, I will show you the way, child. Oh god, the foam adventure, yeah. Band-Aids fix everything too. Yay, alright. I'm just gonna lay on the floor with my leg inside this ridiculous contraption. Okay. Let's cut this glue at the bottom again. Stay. I might have to tape it on both sides to kind of help this, because this is a lot of stress on the back of this. And that's where I want to come apart. Stop. There. Now it will stay. This is weird to build it on myself. I want to do duct tape dummy, but I also, you know, don't want to be like, friend, I need you to make me a duct tape dummy, because like none of the work is on me. It's on whoever's helping me make the dummy, and it's a big deal. It's a big commitment. All right, that's better. Now it will stay. Now I can turn it sideways, and I'm gonna use. So this is not bad for it to kind of be thick up here, but I want to make it way smaller at the bottom. It's also kind of rotating a little bit weird, and I don't like that. So this is clearly meant to be on the very back. And it goes into the foot like that. And so I made the width of the leg match the width of the foot, but the foot isn't slimmed down yet, so these all gotta get chopped together. Normally I have an electric knife for this. I don't think Jess has one. So I got it the old-fashioned way, where I'm just gonna draw, kind of using my concept art. I know I made the legs really like big. I made that concept art like, I don't know, like 2015 or something, a long time ago. And my ideas have sort of changed since then. This is like really loose. Yeah. I need to glue this down, I think, because that'll help sort of slim that out. And then I want very little on this side. This is just way too thick. these are basically going to get cut in half. Which means I may have to, I'm going to have to slim the inner toes down. I may have to build up a little bit more. I'm going to do a little more, but I think we could just slim this down partially here and here. Okay. I'm scared, you guys. I haven't messed with this. I'm gonna take it off me to do this. I haven't messed with this in years. So it's trying to like, I'm trying to like go back in time to be like, alright, what was I thinking when I made it like this? And why did I design it like that? Was there a reason? I have to decide that before I just cut off a bunch of shit that I decide I don't need anymore. Like, this was clearly glued to this at some point, and it came off. So I guess I am going to have to get the hot glue gun out, because I have to make sure that these pieces all line up how they're supposed to, so things sit right. Alright, give me a second to go find the hot glue gun. See, I'm not prepared at all. Also, it's hot in here. I'm gonna have that door closed to keep the dog out. To turn on the fan. Yeah, you dog. Man, it'd be so much nicer if I had this whole setup out there where the actual craft space is, not in this bedroom, but I don't have a way to get the camera up there. I have a laptop, but it's not powerful enough to handle a lot of the processes running at once. When I go back home, technically my big desktop lives in my bedroom, not in my craft room. I'm gonna have to like reevaluate my whole setup again now that I'm gonna be doing streaming as like a big focus. That's just the way it is. Alright. While the hot glue is heating up, I believe I can focus on this foot. Because if I really need to expand it out again, if I cut too much off, I can easily do that. The leg is a little bit more picky about the shapes. This holds its own shape really well, and I can just kind of, you know, deal with that. So I'm going to have this sort of, I'm going to sit in the chair for this one. So it's a little more comfy, and you can see up close what I'm doing. And I can see the chat, so it's like win-win for everybody. Alright, so, where's my... You see how disorganized I am? It's a little bit harder to work when, you know, I'm being watched. In the sense of, like, I'm not that organized, I don't have shit together. I suck. Alright, so from the front view, I think cat feet are kind of boxy. I do kind of want this to go in. The heck is this song? I don't like it. I don't need like weird half dubstep stuff happening. I stopped saying I suck. Sorry! A bad habit, I guess. I don't actually think I suck. I'm not intentionally putting myself down or something. I just... I'm just not as organized as I could be, and I just, you know, well, I know that I will get to a better point where I can be more organized and got like a flow going, and that's kind of why I'm, you know, been doing a bunch of these streams again, because it's like I gotta get back on track. But I'll try to refrain from saying I suck so much. Alright, so basically what I'm doing is kind of drawing what I think the foot will sort of look like from the top view, where it sort of tapers and rounds out on the edges of each of these toes. I'm gonna actually ask if Jess has an electric knife and she knows where it is. Which I need my phone. Come here. I guess she's not home yet. Because I would love electric knife. Let's see. Jess. Second, I had somebody who I commissioned like a million years ago contact me with an update and they want some feedback, so I'm just gonna... There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna find Jess. Okay, I asked her if she knows. Yes, and I will know when she's home, because Brookie will just start going crazy. Or at least I'll know when one of the roommates are home. Jess a lot of times stays later at the shop. Oh, I was still drawing this. Because man, if I could just take the electric knife and just go right through rather than snip, 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 snip. Oh, it'd be so much nicer. It sucks when I'm on my tools with me. Bark. Dog's already barking at something. Oh, it's actually 5. But they're not gonna get home for another like, hour. It's already 5 and I started the stream an hour ago and this is how far I've gotten. Wow. That's what happens. Draw. So anyway, what I was saying is I want to make this out of casted foam. So I can actually build, with this piece of foam, I can create like a silicone mold off of it. What I gotta do is like coat it in resin first to sort of seal up all the little pores around the surface. I got some like bad resin that I could probably use for that. Honestly, because I haven't been home in like a year, and although the bottles are unopened, they're probably not very good anymore. I can't trust it for casting like a head base or something. So it could be used as junk resin to kind of coat this in so I can build them model off of it. And if I have anything else that has some imperfections or I want to make the symmetry a little better, I can cover that with clay. It'll be like a really weird hybrid material, but you know, it'll work. I want to make it a little thinner on the back here. Yeah, that's better. And I may not need all of this along the side as much, but okay. A foot. I got a buzz. Let's see if it's Jess. Jess says no. No, she does not have an electric knife. What kind of fursuit maker doesn't have an electric knife? Oh, box cutter. She's a box cutter person. You know, I've never been a box cutter person. I guess I'm gonna go be a box cutter person. That's gonna be better than scissors for these more straighter cuts. Scissors are good for like rounding out shapes. I'll be right back. Once I find box cutter. I'm pretty sure I know one. All the drawers, but I did find a box cutter. And now, let's hope I don't cut myself. Ugh. A chainsaw. Yeah, we do have a chainsaw. The resin won't dissolve the foam too bad. It will get soaked into the pores, so it takes quite a lot of layers to make sure that it's really sealed up everything. It's coated, but it doesn't deform the shape that bad. Box cutter. Here we go. Oh, it's nice and sharp. That's good, because otherwise this would suck a lot. I feel like I have more control with an electric knife than a box cutter, just because I don't have to do all this manual back and forth thing. It does it for me, and all I gotta do is just point it in the direction I want to go, rather than have to be very careful about where I'm sticking my blade. My fingers. Good, I guess I gotta put some sweat into it. I have to work for my suit, huh? And it may be that I end up resculpting this out of clay in the end anyway. I don't know, but I started making the thing with foam, so I'm continuing with foam. Now I have to cut through this really thick mess of hot glue. It's driving me crazy. Come on. Ugh. I'm trying not to press too hard. I just want to slowly work at the layers so it doesn't slip and cut myself, because I've done that. Ah, there we go. I got past it. Now it's like butter cutting into the foam again. I know a lot of fursuit makers do just box cutters work, and I've just never been that great with a box cutter. Also, this blade is a lot shorter than a electric knife blade would be. Alright, so before I get too much further, I'm going to take pictures for my Patreon documentation. I'll be stopping and doing that a lot. Speaking of Patreon documentation, I have so many pictures I have to put up on my Patreon. They're in the Google folders. If you're the high enough level to access the folder, you can see them all there. But I have to sit down and actually like write up a little blurb about what's happening in the pictures and what I'm doing and why and my whole thought process. That's like part of it. That's the part I'm behind on. Okay, so I slimmed down this foot a lot. You can see I cut it. Based on how thick it was before, I basically cut it in half because I want to make the whole thing skinnier on the sides. So now I get to do it on the side. And I'm to the really thick glue part again. Maybe a laser beam. People have made like hot wire cutters with foam. Problem with that is that it releases dangerous toxic fumes. We don't need that. Although it cuts it like butter and it's so nice to just almost there. Aha, got it. I wonder why it's cut there. Must have been just torn or by a mistake. Same thing on the bottom too. Huh. Huh. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking 3 years ago. I started making this. Barking dog. Okay, already way skinnier foot. It's a lot more slim. Alright, so now from the top view, it's very boxy right now, and I'm just going to basically follow like these lines to sort of cut it in more of a taper on the sides. Ah! Just a friendly alien! Tip me $5. Aw. A little something to show appreciation of the amazing creative works you've done over the years. Truly been inspiring, motivating in the creativity field. Stay creative. Thank you so much, Jose. I believe that at least that's you. You're the only one that has alien in their name. I really appreciate it. And appreciate your support and following me all these years and everything. Like, it really makes me happy that I've made some sort of positive impact on your own creativity. Like, yeah, never stop being creative. Like, never grow up kind of thing. Like, if you can help it. I'm glad to have you here. Like, I missed all you guys. You're doing all this crazy stream stuff. Oh, sorry, I'm holding it up too high. I'm not very conscious of where the camera is all the time. I'm focused on what I'm doing. More picture time. You're innocent. Uh-huh. Sure. Okay, picture time's over. I missed everyone except for you. Yeah, totally. Who cares about 0? 0's a 0. Okay. Angling. I'm gonna have to go from this side. Just because the butt of the blade will get caught otherwise. As I cut toward my legs. No, sideways. So like cut toward the air more. Oh, please go. The tip of this might start getting dull really soon. I can kind of tell it's not cutting near as well as it did. Or actually, this green foam is a different consistency than this. So it's a little more spongy. I think that's the main reason. Another reason I don't like box cutters. It doesn't work really well because I'm pushing so much, it's squishing rather than cutting. That's why I like electric knife again. Because that doesn't do as much, it doesn't need as much pressure. As I have to sit here and do these tiny little cuts manually, and it goes through pretty easily, but I do any big stuff, I'm pushing so much that it doesn't cut. Electric knife, you don't have to do as much pushing. Electric knives, I love electric knives, but I'm not going to stop talking about my love for electric knives. Okay, there. Just gotta cut that angle off. Now I do it to this side. It always looks like such a piece of junk when I'm just like tearing off these weird chunks. It's just like so lumpy and dumb looking until I get to the point where I can actually smooth things out. But it's slowly getting more rounded. More pictures. I'm gonna do this a lot, so. A serrated bread knife, yes, that does work on foam. That's essentially what electric knife is a serrated bread knife. It's just that it's, electric. So it goes really, really fast. Remember, Nazarcon is in 9 months. If all goes well, yeah. Okay. Now, I kind of got the sides doing what I want. Oh, I got to do this middle section too, because it kind of twists around and together in the middle. So I'm going to cut off this little sort of triangle. I have to get past this glue though. Oh, it's not going to like me. Glue. Ta-da! Alright, so now we gotta cut this like chunk out of the middle. Like, go away, chunk. Yeah, so the box cutter I'm using to do big cuts, big chunks, and then I'll use the scissors to make things like rounded and nice. Alright, so I'm gonna cut this in a little bit more because the outer toes are way smaller than the inner toes, which is okay. They technically should all be about the same size. So I can just sort of cut into it sideways a little bit if I get past the glue. Kind of make it skinnier. Kind of give some part of this on the edge to this toe, which it does not line up on the top at all, but I will trim all that down a little bit more too. There we go. Just kind of cut in here a little more. Ah, man, this looks so bad with the box cutter. I swear, it'll look beautiful by the end of the stream. That's what, like, fursuits have to all go through their ugly stage. So why a lot of makers don't like sharing work in progress photos with their clients as they're building things? Because the maker has a vision, and you can't always see it when it looks like this. And so if you show it to the client, they might freak out saying like, oh, this doesn't look right at all. Like, change this, change that, you know, and it's like not to the point where it's ready for critique in that sense. And a lot of makers have had bad experiences with the clients trying to dictate the way the work goes without understanding that, you know, that you paid this artist to have the knowledge and the skill necessary to kind of take it in the right direction. To like, you're paying for their style, their vision. You need to trust them, let them, you know, get to a point. There's also the flip side of that where it could get to a point where it's like too far and, you know, now you can't go back and change something that could have been solved a lot earlier. You know, if you know, it's like, oh, I wish you had done a little bit more of this shape or something. It's a tricky balance. That's one reason why I have yet to do any client commissions with fursuit stuff, is because that entire, like, go back and forth, that whole setup is tough. It's not as bad when you're doing, like, drawings, because it's so much easier to, like, edit and fix things. When you're working with a 3D thing, it's a lot trickier to, and wait, well, hold on. I wear sunglasses at night, just tip $5 with a nice little sunglasses emoji. Well, heck, alright, well, it's not nighttime, but, sunglasses time, apparently. This is now the content that you wanted, you paid for. I can't see very well now. This is all your fault. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate that. And I can only think of them. I'm gonna probably blame Crystal for that one, unless it's somebody that was part of my old live streams, because I had this thing where back when it was not as regulated, I would put on 80s music and I'd sing because I love 80s music and I like singing. And whenever the Sunglasses at Night song came on, I had to stop what I was doing and put sunglasses on and sing the song. That became just like a thing we did in the stream. So it could be a throwback nod to that, or it could have just been a big coincidence. Either way, I look damn cool in shades. You can't deny that. Alright. Already I hope you can kind of see. This is looking a lot more like a toe. It's still blocky, but it's getting there. And Jess does have a serrated bread knife, but it's used for bread. And I don't want to just use her kitchen utensils without, like, permission to, like, put gross, crafty things on it. I don't know. It's a little different when you're dealing with, you know, sanitation of things that go in your mouth. I know I can wash it, but I will survive with this thing. I'm glad you guys are trusty makers, or you had a good experience with them. It's obviously it's not the case all the time, but you know, a positive experience is always a win. I'm glad that you're happy with the work that you got, and that Brady, you're looking forward to what Michelle's gonna make for you, because yeah, she's got a great portfolio of duchy suits, and she's not afraid to tackle some pretty complex markings and neat things that people have added onto their characters. So I think that she's a good choice, absolutely. So I hope that all goes out well. I'm really excited to see it. Okay, more pictures. Okay, I think we're almost to the point where we can do some sculpting with the scissors instead. I'm gonna make the top of this toe line a little bit more exaggerated. Like indent it down a little bit. Cut this out. A chunk out, and then the sides. This was the side of this, the profile view was taken directly off of the pattern that I made originally for the toes. You can kind of see how that will line up like this. However, because I'm making the entire thing slimmer, I'm making it skinnier on the side. It also means I gotta squish it down on the top to kind of keep some of those proportions looking okay. So I'm gonna trim down the side a little bit, which is fine because this one is already lower. You can see how it's, you know, goes up the stair step, and I don't want that anyway. So I will. It's going to draw. I should draw this. Sing, "Don't Dream It's Over" in the 80s. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one or not, to be honest. It's not ringing a bell. Oh, I have tie shoes instead of slip-on shoes? Nice. I mean, I used to make all my old shoes, all my old fursuit feet out of tennis shoes, just because, like, it was really easy to stay on your feet better, and obviously it's got, like, the inside, the sole, and everything is made for being walked on all day. So it's not a bad choice. Excuse me. Most, yeah, slip-on shoes, like, fursuit feet. I have the tiniest heckin' feet for my size, like, ever, and so it's really hard for me to find, like, a good pair of shoes that doesn't, like, slide right off or get kicked right off, so I have to be careful. I can't, like, run around as enthusiastically or anything. And the dogs go crazy again. Okay, so sort of drawn the side. This is how much I want to cut down from the top. I did it on both sides. Oh yes, I do have that old gif of Riley, my German Shepherd version of Riley. Sunglasses, and it's just like this. It was just like a GIF loop, and it was great. That one was actually not made by me. I commissioned a local Colorado artist. My God, I'm trying to remember. It's Kay, but is it? I'm trying to remember her username. It's not Key Feathers. It's something to do with feathers. I feel like. Man, I can remember now. It's starting to drive me crazy. But I had that icon for, like, longest time. I might still have it on my DeviantArt. I don't remember. I don't really go on there very often anymore, but that's the icon that I've had the longest, like, on any account. I love that icon. I want to make a modern, updated version, maybe, with Thesaurus. Picture. Before I get too far ahead of myself here. Picture. The Brookie alarm, yeah. He's barking at nothing, I assure you. Because they would be going much more crazy if somebody was at the door. Oh! A new person, or at least a person that hasn't been chatting. Wraith. Artist streams. Oh yeah! My god, Groudon! That was the last time you saw me stream. Wow! Yes, it's been a while then. Hello and welcome back! Cut. Wow! That didn't go anywhere. That like landed at my feet instead of going across the room. There we go. Try again. I'm slowly making a giant pile of foam over there. Try to recut this again a little bit straighter. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Good job. Okay, so that I'm way happier with that like side profile. It's a lot shorter now, and now it's more flat across the top. I'll still have to cut it down a little bit more, I think. But I'll probably end up doing scissors since I can't do a lot of slim cuts with the box cutter. Try as I might, it's too flexible. It gives too much. So the difference between all these tools. So this obviously cuts. Scissors don't cut; they pinch. So it interacts differently with the foam, especially because this is squishy material. So you have to with the scissors, you have to trap a thing and pinch it in order to get it to cut along that line, which means that it sort of puckers in first before it cuts, and then it springs back out. So that can alter the way that the shape ends up being. So it's very different. Where this, when you're cutting through something, if it's a sharp blade and you're being really careful and doing tiny precision cuts, it's not going to move the foam around as much, which could be a benefit potentially. But yes, slowly getting more of a tiger paw going in here. And then obviously it's built with this giant hole because it has to be built around like a place for my foot to go. So that's why you could see that there's like nothing on the sides here, because that would be the wall where my foot would be. But I'm already way happier with this heckin' foot shape. Way better. Alright, so done with box cutter because not a big fan of that, but now the shape's really gonna start coming alive because I'm gonna just snip the crap out of it with my scissors. So it's the same principle as like the box cutter, except that I can get way more precision control, and I'm basically beveling the edges. So anything where there's like a sharp point, I'm basically cutting a 45-degree around this edge to round it out. And I'm taking more pictures. Now, everybody has their weapon of choice. Oh yeah. Definitely feeling this now. Get off. Also foam, especially when you get in the little pieces, it's super duper clingy, static clingy. And then, so the places where I had that 45-degree bevel, now I'm going to have that and slowly just cut off these edges until it makes a much more rounded shape. Taper in a little bit more at the top here. So it's a little bit wider at the base. And skinnier at the top. And then I have to try to sort of match that onto the other side before I get too much further, because I want them to be as symmetrical as possible. Typically that's what I do, is that I'll start sculpting something a little bit on one side, then I'll sculpt it a little bit on the opposite side to keep it along the same steps. Because if I just over sculpt one side and then I try to make the other side match, it's a lot harder. But if they still look similar, like in baby steps along the way, then I have an easier time remembering what steps I took to get to that point, that I can just match it across the line of symmetry. And what's nice is that it doesn't need to be like super duper duper perfect. It will be covered up with fur and stuff, which sort of helps smooth everything out. I do have the hot glue gun heating up. Yeah, it's on the table back there. It's dripping onto the table, and that's okay. Pull it off the table. I'm trying to make the scraps go that way instead of all over me. So I keep moving it over there. I apologize. I guess it's probably going to be inevitable that I get covered in foam, so whatever, I'll just stick it here. Better. Pieces of foam all over me. Over there. Alright, here we go. So now those sides are kind of rounded out better. Little kitty beans. And more picture time. I really hate the dogs barking at every little thing, but now it might be realistic to expect somebody might come home. It's like everybody gets off work at 5, and then it's like a 40-minute drive to get over here. Ish. Okay, now bevel this. Bevel this side at the same time. I'm also going to cut this off because it's going to look more symmetrical. Kitty beans. This is nice. I haven't done foam sculpting, I guess, since I made the griffin head, which was a year and a half ago. Is that right? Have I done anything else with foam since then? I don't think so. Yeah, because I made the griffin head back in February, because that's when our ski trip was. Might have cut it a little bit too deep, too wide in the center bit, unfortunately. But I can always fill that in with something. It's because I'm not used to the box cutter! I blame the box cutter. We have more weird music. I don't really like the crazy hardstyle stuff so much. It's just like, you can't really dance to this, you can't really be like, yeah to this. It's just a little too much. Go away. It's better, because more you can jive to this. Pull the carpet way off the trash. There you go, that works. Hi, cousin! Yes, we're doing foam work. For like once. Actually, it might not be bad so much that I've really exaggerated this gap, because when I get covered with fur, especially when it comes together in like a seam like that in like a valley, the fur really tends to, because the fibers are they're coming out straight out of the surface, and as it sort of goes more in, they point toward each other. They kind of just like fill each other in, because now you're condensing all these fibers into this little crack, and it sort of puffs it out a lot. So it's actually better that I'm over exaggerating in the foam form. So it should make that seam, that valley, a little bit more prominent and obvious when it comes time to cover it in fur. So I will be shaving the feet down, since tigers have very short fur on their feet. And I want to have that toe definition really show. So maybe it was a happy accident. I'll take happy accident, it'll work. Cutting on the seam has got a lot of glue, so it's hard to chomp past that. And also what I can do is, I can coat it in resin for sure, but I can also coat it in clay, honestly, and I can sort of smooth it out further and make it a little more symmetrical, because there's only so much symmetry I can really do effectively out of foam. So the people that always, carve each one of their bases by hand out of upholstery foam, like, they're on another level of, takes a lot more practice. Because it's a lot harder to keep it really symmetrical. That's why a lot of people have moved to sculpting and then foam casted bases. And because you only have to struggle with the symmetry once, but you can do it in clay form, which is so much easier to adjust. I still like sculpting with foam by hand. It's a lot of fun, but like I said, I want to move more to EVA foam anyway, which is totally different, but makes it sort of like gives it like a hollow form. It doesn't make a very flexible, squishy head at all, but it makes it a very lightweight one. Better air, well, maybe not better flow. It kind of depends on how you make it, because it's not a open cell foam, it's a closed cell foam. But you can have a lot more empty space inside the head, so it's not, foam doesn't all have to be squishing you from every side. You know, you're not like wearing a sock over your head. Round out the bottom here a little bit on the edge. That out a little too much. Something I could probably fix with clay then at that point. It's easy to cut too much off. You can glue it back on, but then you sort of make glue tumors. You don't necessarily want glue tumors either. Then it becomes even harder to sculpt around and cut through with scissors to refine the shape. Better. Okay, so let me give you a nice overview, kind of. Ah! Ah! Bob Ross apparently has tipped me $1. We don't make mistakes. We just happy accidents. What a mantra! Absolutely, Bob Ross is right. Thank you so much for the support and reminding me of the important lesson and the famous words of Bob Ross. Yes, we're making happy little trees, but they're just shaped like feet. Alright, so let me get this kind of out of the way so you can kind of see toes. Looking a little bit better. I just kind of need to shape more of the top so it's not stupid flat. And I'm going to take a picture before I get too much further in sculpting. Hey, Stephen Roy's here. Submission food flies all sins. That's also very true. Like I said, it'll sort of smooth out and round everything, so I don't need to be super duper perfect for my foam work. I'm just like being a little bit of a perfectionist. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. And also, kitty feet are a little bit more boxy. I like kind of keeping them more boxy shaped. That's just like my personal style choice, I guess. Alright, now I gotta define the toes a little bit further in on the top here. For the sides. Since it's no longer defined by the place where I had to use 2 different foams, I'm shifting it in because I'm making the toes narrower, so I might box cutter this because it's difficult to pinch this out properly. Like sort of cut into it a little bit. Yeah, like that. Doesn't want to freaking cut, but kind of getting there. There are my little toe divots on each side. Now I'm gonna bevel the edges to make them rounder and define this a little bit more. Yeah, like that. Feetsies. It's fun making feetsies. I can't wait till I have to make the raptor feetsies. Oh my god. I've always wanted to make some raptor feet. I'm probably going to have to make a couple of pairs of feet. Just so I can have them for myself. And maybe just sell a pair of feet only. Because the head is the part where I'm just like, ugh, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's matters the most. But the rest of it is like fun and easy. That's why I haven't gotten very super duper far with this guy, this project here. This guy. But soon, probably very soon, I'm going to attempt to transfer that onto EVA foam at life size and try to figure out how the hell I'm going to build that thing. And I will be doing all of that on stream too. I have a tradition of streaming all of my costume builds. And I did stream me working on, Jess and I working on the Griffin head. That was like the last major stream that I did. Like I said, that was like a year and a half ago. That was in February 2019. So, yeah, it was time. Turn it this way. Pinch this little tip. Sort of round out this toe definition a little bit. Make it more subtly come up to the surface here. Like that. Put that out more. Thanks, Wrath. I'm glad you're lurking. And that's honestly kind of the ideal way to do art streams like this, is to kind of just like lurk and every once in a while check on see how progress is, instead of like, sit there and stare at me, because I'm not that exciting. But it's however you want to watch. That's just typically how I end up interacting with a lot of people's streams. I kind of just lurk. Now, I learned kind of a newer term that was coined by a well-known EDM DJ, 11, the term flirking. So it's when you're trying to lurk, but you just get like sucked in anyway, even though you're intending to just like have it on the background or on the side and not pay that much attention to it, but you end up getting sucked in. So it's like fake lurking, because you're not actually lurking anymore at that point. You're engaging so much with the chat. So it's fake lurking, aka flirking. And now you know. You're welcome. And sorry if the stream's kind of bleh sometimes. Again, I'm not on the best internet. And also around this time is when, you know, everybody's coming from home from work, and suddenly the network's like super clogged up and shit. So, yeah. Alright, well, this is looking like a million times better. All of this right here where there's like a bunch of like random glue, that's going to be where the top of the legs, you know, like fabric cover comes here. It's going to be covering this up. So you're only seeing this much of the top, not all of this. And that's where it starts like going up at an angle. So I'm not going to worry about moving that out. But otherwise, I think I'm really happy with how that sort of looks. See, now it looks more like, you know, it's got some structure to it. Like it's a paw. If it was covered in fabric, it would look even better. But, you know, here it is for now. Until I get to that point. But I'm so much happier with the slim version of what I had sort of designed. Like you can see here, like on the side, that front view and back view is really flayed out in the bottom, like really big. But that's not what a tiger foot is like, and I just want to make it a little bit more tigerish look. And I don't want it to get like extreme with the foot size, because it makes it so much harder to like run around. You could trip over your own feet and stuff. I just want something light and dainty and fun for this character. Because I've done ginormous stompy feet before. That was my Dutch Angel Dragon. And it was like, just maybe a little too much, I think. But it's hard to make Digirate illusion padding look right. So eventually I will come up with the ultimate Digirate leg padding. And it will be like my signature style or whatever. That's what I'm attempting to do with these legs. I want to build one kind of master digi-leg pattern that I use as the basis for all of my diginess legs. At least for people that are similarly sized and built to me. Since obviously this is made for my body and proportions. Because it's mine! It's mine! Oh, but I'm so happy with this. I'm really glad that that I have been made to sit down and actually work on this, because I have kind of missed it. I really have. This song is kind of borderline hardstyle. I'm not sure if I'm into it. Ah! A thing happened! Oh my god, things! Not Crystal! Tipped $1. Not Crystal, LO. And this is the worst part! Is I don't know if it's actually Crystal or not. Or if it's Zero. Or if it's somebody imposing as one of them. I don't know anymore. What is real? What is life? These are the questions that you guys make me ask myself. And I don't know how to answer. Thank you so much for the tip, whoever not Crystal is, wherever you are. Whoever wants to express their aggressive generosity at me again. this is cut in a little bit more than I wanted it to be. It's okay. I can build that up a little bit with some clay. Just sort of smooth some shit out, but whatever. Beep, 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 beep. Picture time. Yeah, crow's feet. Oh my god. Yeah, those were big old stompy feet. I think those are bigger than Sonar's. Okay, pictures. Alright, time for the sunglasses to come off. I can see! Now I can see what it looks like! Okay, sometimes I close one eye because depth perception changes the way things look. And it helps. It's also another trick is looking at it through a camera lens, because it also has a different focal length on it than your eyeballs, and it's obviously it's a not binocular vision, so it will look different. You have to kind of also another thing you can do is look at it in a mirror, and you know if it looks silly, then maybe you should fix something because you just are so used to seeing it one way that you have to get a fresh perspective to figure out what needs to be tweaked to make it even better. I'm gonna make it taper in a little bit more on that side to match. I like what it's doing on that side. This out. I want it a little wider at the base, a little bit more tapered at the top. Foam dust is everywhere now. Little foam particles floating through the air. And there's all these little snips, and I got a fan going, so it's kind of blowing around. I'm covered in foam! This is why I didn't want to do it in my lap. But, you know, like I said, it's going to be inevitable, so... I live up to my title as the Queen of Foam once more. And I do still have way too much foam at home that I don't even know what to do with. See it? So much foam. Oh goodness. It's all stuck to my face. Yeah, it is the same as black clothes and cat and dog hair fur. Yes. Now I have to clean myself off, so I'm going to take myself and kind of huddle over to the trash can like this. Bring the trash can to me. And try to dump myself into the trash can. It actually worked. It's a miracle. Now I have lots and lots and lots of tiny foam scraps to clean up. I don't want the animals getting into it. It seems like something they would do. So, you get to watch me pick up a lot of foam. Quality content right here. That's what I offer you. It's a very different shape than what we started out with. It's all this foam that I've cut off so much. But at least that was something like slightly more exciting to watch because it comes together really fast. The problem with a lot of these art streams is it's hard to make them like entertaining enough because it's just such like micro changes and small adjustments that it's not very noticeable overall unless you're like doing the beginning construction stages where you're putting big pieces together or something. Like art streams, when you first start, you're just building a sketch out of a blank piece of paper, and it's really easy to see those big changes. But when you're getting to like the line art, you're making tiny little changes, or you're just tracing over what's already kind of there. It's not as exciting. This is another reason why I'm looking forward to like the Twitch affiliate tools, so you can do different things to entertain yourselves too. And I hope it's, kind of at least exciting or entertaining in some way, because a lot of people here are sort of like-minded into the same things. Even if you may not be an artist yourself, you might be just an art appreciator or curious about the process and think it's like magic to watch it come to life. Because it basically is. I think that's pretty much all of them on the floor. Now I gotta worry about the ones on the seat. It's probably the most annoying part about foam. There's like pieces of dried clay on this seat underneath the cushion. I wonder how long that's been there. And these little things I'm not going to be able to get, so lint roller. I won't get any of this. It's sticky enough. I think that like a lot of that might be clay that's like pressed into the seat. This is not my chair. So, not my fault. Well, I don't know, it might be. Probably not. I had the cushion on the whole time, but I was sculpting that mini raptor head on my desk for most of the time. Oh no! I picked it up and I just like still had tiny scrap pieces attached to it that were loose, and now there's foam everywhere again. I will never win. And that's the thing, is like these tiny pieces of foam, they follow me everywhere. Now that I've unleashed the monster, I'm going to like find it at Walmart on the floor because I walked there. And I go like, oh shoot, I was here last week and that piece of foam has just like followed me home, or followed me to the store. That will legitimately happen because it'll be like stuck to your clothes somewhere and you'll just like shed it. Because it's just so tiny and so staticky clingy. I have found foam on the bus. I've found foam on my school back in the day. It's a thing. But I think I did a pretty good job getting that out of the way. So yay! Hooray! Alright, so let's kind of see what this is sort of looking like with the leggy and the new foot that has like some character to it. Also, I need to glue this back together, but I'm too anxious to put this on my leggy. Put the leggy on the leggy. Yeah, I'm gonna glue that back in place. That tape did not hold at all. Glue is much better because it'll seep into the fibers and hold it. But yeah. And it's gonna be way too wide now. It's not gonna match up anymore. But yeah, now I've got little kitty beans. This is what I want. Fucking. It's going to sit there. Yeah, so it's still got a good like look to it.
What you're going to hear about today is nothing
except this on the back. This is supposed to. It's going on the side of my leg just because it's not in place. It's supposed to go on the back of my heel, like that. There. It's a little bit better like that. And I'm just. Let me move this up so you can see a little bit more of my. No, I said up. Walk over here. Now you got my butt in there.
Sound waves reaching the microphone are changed.
Yeah, so more dainty feet. I like that look so much better. How about you? But it's not about you. It's about me. It's about what I want. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is, you can still see this is much wider on the side. So I'm going to take all this and shrink it. But yay! A foot. Ugh. Get off me. Ah, no, it's weird hard style shit again. Go away. No. You know what? Weird dubstep bullshit that you can't dance to. Unless you're like having a seizure. We don't want to have seizures. Just don't pour foaming at the mouth. Enjoy your food, Brady, if you're still here. Oh no! Mythimorph.com is not working for you? I've been trying to fix this problem. At first I learned that it's a cache issue. So if you've been to the site before and then it just like, no, it's not working, clear your cache and then try again and it should fix itself. Otherwise, the other thing is you have to have HTTPS. It is a secured site. And if you have just regular HTTP, sometimes I have found it does not automatically convert itself to HTTPS. And then it breaks and it doesn't load the page. And I'm just like, but why? On that note, my website is like bare bones and shitty and doesn't look like anything. So it's not that exciting right now. But I need to get back into finishing making the site. Eventually. But thank you for letting me know it's not working properly still. And I don't know. There's a bunch of like EU rules about managing online data, and maybe my site doesn't have the right certificate added to the database to prove that it meets some government regulation of some kind. I don't know. I know that is a thing because of the way that privacy laws work. So, yet another thing to fix. Well, I'm glad the site works for you at least, Stephen Roy. Because, man, it was not working on me the other day. Like literally yesterday. Got some weird gunk on my screen. I don't know how that happened. I think it might be just foam dust particles. Probably when I put the X-Acto knife down. And it just went... Okay, so the hot glue gun should be warm. I'm gonna sort of repair where this is sort of falling apart. Because this is not sticking very well to the tape. Duct tape, you have failed me. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna try this new trick that I learned haven't gotten a chance to play with. Because this hot glue is very hot, and I need to like hold this together, but I can't actually like touch it because I would burn and die. I don't have any in here, shockingly. Alright, I'll be right back. I don't know where an opened one is right now, but canned air. Turn it upside down, it super freezes itself and blasts cold air, which helps the hot glue not be hot. Cools it off like instantly. So it will solidify. So I don't have to sit there and hold molten lava for very long. At least in theory. This will be actually the first time I've actually used this trick, but I've seen a couple people use it, and I'm just like, that's genius! Also, fuzz all over this thing. Man. I do not like being in a house full of animals, because there's just fur over everything. It's nuts. Okay. So it was a cache issue, you think? Yeah. I don't know what it is because, like, my server has a cache manager. My theme that's installed in WordPress to do all, like, the CSS stuff has its own cache manager. And then I was trying to do another WordPress plugin that works with building, like, a online store to your system, but it has its own cache manager, and they're all fighting with each other. So you could get the page to load, like, on the initial, but then if you try to reload it again, it gives you a 403 error because it's got some weird cache issue because they don't play nice together and it breaks itself, and I was just like tearing my hair out about it yesterday. So I uninstalled and removed the one plugin that was causing the majority of the problems, and I changed the way that redirect links work so that it maintains that S, but natively on the site, like going from page to page, it was still giving me weird issues. So, I don't know. So if it's, you clear the cache and then you load the page and then you try to reload it again, if it's still giving you errors, let me know. Or if that reloading the cache fixed the issue ultimately, maybe it is fixed and your cache was still just not cleared out from whenever the last time you might have accessed the site before yesterday. I don't know. I don't know. Technology is annoying. Oh, I'm like, it's not squirting because it's still locked to pull out this thing. There, super cool. Haha! Probably not amazing for the structural integrity of the glue. To go from that hot to that cold, it might make it brittle. That's the only thing I'm really worried about, but we'll experiment, because this is like a piece of trash piece anyway. It's not like it's going to the final costume, so I don't care if the glue's not perfect in its integrity. Please don't trip on the part. Now it's like too cold to be touched, but it's too hot to be touched there. It's a weird concept. Because like some parts are like freezing cold and some parts are still like burning hot. Just made like a film over my finger. I can't touch that part too long because it's too cold. Huh. This is an interesting experiment, to say the least. Once I got the first part tacked, the rest of it should go better pretty fast. Maybe more gentle. controlled. Not just like full blasted. It's probably better. Just trying to seal up this seam back again. Hello, Tank. Welcome to Streamland. While you were gone, we made a foot. I did a thing. It's a miracle. Oh my god, there's more fuzz on it! So much fuzz. That's a hot part. Well, I've burned myself enough times with the hot glue gun in my life that, you know, it's just gonna happen. You turn it into a drinking game. Take a shot every time Riley burns himself. But maybe not. Maybe don't actually do that. I'm gonna see if I can bring this a little bit closer. I don't have like an actual good tripod set up for all this right now. Again, I'm just kind of working in the guest bedroom, so it's not really. It's really. My finger really is kind of burning, so. Hold my finger down a little bit to counteract that burniness. I'm smart. Bring the chat back up. A ding! A ding-a-ling! Oh heck! Hold on, I gotta adjust the ding-a-ling. This emojis fly all over the screen. Ah! Oh, Blizzard tipped $2. Oh, what are you saying? You're saying something and I'm way over here. I love your work since 2012 so far. Thanks for the streaming. Plus any glue gun buying advice. My one is ineffective on the foams. Awesome. Wow, you've been around for a while then. So yeah, you were back with like Groudon days and shenanigans. Thanks so much for, still being here after all these years. And welcome back to, you know, whatever this is that I'm doing. So glue gun suggestions. I do have those. You want something. Okay, glue guns, effective glue guns are two parts. One is the actual gun itself, the other one is the glue that you're using. So, this one that I'm using here is by a company called AdTech. And these are the ones that you can commonly find in like the craft stores or whatever. But this one specifically is a high temperature gun. I don't know if it's a dual temp. No, it's a high temp. And high temps are going to be better for what you're doing. You can do a multi-temp as well if you want to switch between low and high, depending on kind of like what you're doing. But in general, high temp is going to give you a better, stronger hold. Because the melting point of those glues is much, much higher, which means that if you let it sit in a hot car, it's probably not going to come apart on you from the heat. But a low temp glue might, because it's got a lower melting point. So it's a good idea for the strength and durability to use a high temp gun, or one that's got multi-temperature that can melt high temp glue sticks. The only downside to hotter temperature glue and glue guns is that they're hot. I mean, like, duh, but they are like molten lava and they'll stay that way so much longer. Ah! Hold on, I'm not done with the first one. You can't give more money to me. Shit. Okay. Tank James has tipped me $5, a bribe / reward for coming to his stream earlier. Says, thanks for coming by. I hope there are many more to come. Well, you're super welcome. You definitely didn't need to give me money, like, to go check out your stream. Like, obviously I'm trying to, like, help you because you already helped me. So, you know, I have to return the favor, like, somehow. I really hope, though, that your stream does get to a point where, you know, you're getting more of a regular audience, that, you know, it goes somewhere, that it helps you out a little bit, and, you know, that it's a kind of a fun place to interact. Like, that's kind of the goal. So I really, really wish you luck. Thank you so much for being here with me and for donating. I always appreciate that. Alright, now back to the other thing I'm talking about, glue guns. So, yeah, when it's molten lava glue, it's a lot harder to, you know, you have to wait a lot longer for it to cool down, which means that you have to hold pieces, like, a lot longer, or that you have a higher risk of burning yourself, which is just, like, kind of inconvenient, to be honest. It's kind of stuffy. Which can kind of slow the process down. It's so much faster to look with low temperature glues because you can touch it relatively quickly after it's come out of the gun. Like, you know, obviously it's still really hot, you can still hurt yourself, but the risk is not as severe. So, you know, it does kind of slow things down when you're working with higher temp gun and glue. That being said, not all glue is created equal. We have learned this more recently, kind of the hard way in a lot of cases. So, I'm just going to use the example of Jess because that's who kind of taught me a lot about this, and she's the person whose house I'm in right now. Jess, or also known as Monayasha, or Dream Vision Creations. They actually have bought a special glue, a high temperature glue stick, that they sell on their web store, dreamvisioncreations.com. And it's because there was this constant problem of you go to the craft store and you just buy, you know, a pack of glue sticks, and some of the companies have changed the formula of the glue sticks, and they're just not working very well anymore. Specifically not sticking to resin bases, being the biggest problem that people were starting to run into, which is a problem for Dream Vision Creations because half their catalog is resin bases or resin-based products. And people couldn't get their glue to stick to the plastic head bases to do like furring or working on. Well, it's not going to be very helpful. We're not going to get very far. So they bought a batch of glue sticks in bulk from the company that they're basically known as like super high tech glue sticks. They can only be melted with high temperature gun, I'm pretty sure. But they're like quality glue sticks that you can actually trust is going to be sticky enough, be tacky enough to work on things like plastic, which is it's got a lot of chemicals in there, and it's a lot pickier sometimes about what will stick to it. You know, some glues are made specifically to glue plastics together. Some work better than others. But hot glue is the most common glue used for fursuit making for like a lot of reasons. It's also one of the, besides being really hot, it's one of the safer glues. A lot of other glues are very fumey, and you can get like high off of them, and you can actually get like damage to your body, and you don't want that. Don't want that, because you know we already deal enough with poisons in our lives and getting cancer from everything. So you know, one less thing you have to worry about. You don't want your glue to do that. Now, hot glue does kind of give off some fumes too, but it's not nearly as dangerous as all the other kind of glues. And it's easiest to sort of work with. It's also one of the faster setting glues. It's just like superior for so many reasons. So, if you want to make sure you're getting a freaking good glue, you can buy it from DVC. Or you can just go to the store and experiment yourself. The problem is, not all glue is created equal, even the same brand, because they may change a little bit from batch to batch. So, I've had generally pretty good luck with the AdTech glue sticks that are also sold at like Joann's or something. But the last time I really used a lot of glue, and I bought a bunch of glue sticks in bulk, was like 5 years ago. I haven't really bought any more glue sticks in the meantime, so I'm a little bit behind on the glue stick problem, I guess. But I am aware that this problem exists, and Dream Vision does offer at least one solution to how to make it better. And I believe she gets it from gluesticks.com. But just look for anything that mentions, you know, high temperature and high tack. that's effectively what you want. So I hope that sufficiently answers your question. Now I got this huge ass seam here. Also, high temp glue, especially if you get like the big glue guns like this and the big sticks, you can lay down a heck of a lot more glue over a larger surface area, and you don't have to worry about it flash curing or, you know, flash cooling off, turning into its solid state. You can put a lot more down this time, and you have longer working time with it, which can be either a blessing or a curse depending on how you feel about it. But like right now, I don't have to worry about attaching these two pieces together immediately. I can take my time with it. And then the foam is also insulating, so when I kind of put all this together, it's going to retain the heat longer in there because if this foam is just naturally insulating, so it's going to take longer for it to cool off in the very middle. So I can kind of blast it a little bit, but it's only going to get the surface. Inside it's still like molten, so I do have to hold this for a while. Another trick, you can use little like wonder clips, and you can kind of pinch the seam and just leave it alone, so it'll like stay. It'll be good. Because the only other glues you can really use for like foam would be spray glue, and it only works for large surfaces that are flat pieces, and it's very, again, stinky. Or you can use like barge cement, which is probably a little bit overkill for something like this, but that stuff is what you basically use for everything else, like especially the EVA foam for making like cosplay armor and things. That is the glue of choice. It's extremely expensive. It's basically a industrial rubber cement that they use to put shoes together. And that shit is sticky. It's not coming off. But it's also incredibly humid. You have to do it outside. You have to wear a ventilator otherwise. And it's expensive. Did I mention that? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna kind of catch up with the chat a little bit, since I've been obviously working and talking, and now I have to let it kind of sit anyway, so. Oh, Keize's here! Hello, Keize! So yeah, the other thing about, okay, so it's not that you can't use low temp. In fact, low temp is really good, you know, because it comes usually, or at least the smaller guns versus the bigger guns. The bigger ones are really freaking nice, especially if you have a handle that's like a full hand grip rather than like a little finger trigger, because your finger will get tired. But you got a lot more leverage, and you can push a lot more out at once. And the big sticks, you have to have a high melting point, you know, have to have a high temp gun in order to be able to continuously melt enough of it at the tip, so when you squeeze it all out, you know, you have a lot more glue to work with. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck doing like tiny little bits at a time, and it's not fun. But the smaller guns that have the tinier sticks really helps for like getting inside of things and getting these tight corners and small spaces, like you're trying to glue some stuff inside the head or something. Which is nice. It's nice to have kind of both, or having a variety assortment. It kind of depends whether or not it's something that's a little bit more like structurally supported, that you really need it to adhere and, you know, not come apart ever. Or if you're maybe trying to just temporarily kind of tack something in place. Because you can effectively pull glue, you know, if you seam apart, you might rip the foam a little bit, but you can kind of, to a point, undo some stuff. And it's a lot easier to do that with a low temp gun, low temp glue. Because a lot of times the lower temp, it'll cool off faster, so it'll sit more on the surface, where a high temp gun, or high temp glue, tends to melt a little bit more into the pores of the foam. And that could be a good or a bad thing. Because the more glue, like, that's on top of the surface, attaching two surfaces together, is going to make a stronger bond than glue that seeps too far into the porous surfaces, and now it's spread out a lot more. Now it's more like making a glue tumor. It's very hardened in that area, and it may not stick together very well because there's not enough glue on the surface to hold the surfaces together, which is the point. So high temp tends to have more of a problem with soaking in. And you may have to do a couple passes of the glue to make sure that it stays, but yeah, then it'll kind of make it a little crispy. So, it's a lot of just kind of like trial and error, and you know, just certain things to like watch out for or be aware of while you're working with it. And don't be so surprised when some things kind of come apart. Like this is obviously being under a lot of stress, and it's only kind of half-assed glued together, so I'm not surprised it's sort of falling apart now. I'm sort of just kind of fixing it. But it's looking much better. It's holding its shape way better too. So this had some glue on the other side, but it's... Look at this. Down here. In general, like what I'm doing, you know, to be really careful the hot glue doesn't drip onto the carpet, because it's gonna be hard to come off without ripping up the carpet. So when I'm setting it down, I'm setting it down on top of the paper, but it could easily like fall over or something. So you know, I'm just live dangerously, I guess. Alrighty, thanks so much for stopping by, Stephen Roy. Enjoy your dinner. I'm finding so much fuzz on the ground, it's like not even funny. It's just like, I didn't, like, I vacuumed not that long ago, it feels like. It's just, ugh. Goodness, carpet just tracks everything. Alright. Where else could I need some reinforcements? These pieces are supposed to go together. They were never glued together, but well, maybe not. I think there's a little bit of a gap. Let me slip it on my legs since I don't have a dummy. Kind of see where everything's sort of sitting now. Oh, it's holding itself together, so much better. Okay, yeah. So this does have a purposeful gap there. I just need to move it out. It's not rotating as much anymore either. It's actually like freaking staying like it's supposed to. I have this like random piece that's sort of flopping on the bottom. I'm gonna move that back. So this is why I had so much breaking on the back of this, because my heel is getting like caught. I have to really point my toe and carefully get this past my heel, which is getting stuck here. It's pretty skinny there. There we go. Now the whole thing will slide off. Okay. So this piece back here, yeah, this piece here, it's just like ready to fall off. So this is an example of, yeah, glue very. See how the strips are really far apart, and it's how this is like really squished down. It's really flat. It's because the glue soaked in, so it didn't hold it very well. So the solution is add more glue. Also, when you put glue on top of dried glue, it will reactivate the glue underneath because it's remelting it again. So I don't have to put like as much glue effectively in there. Get that together. So yeah, the glue's like, even though it didn't like completely stick and kind of soaked in too much the first time, I'm sort of reactivating it, so it's still being useful. It's still getting, you know, it's not like a waste or something. It's just that's another thing that happens. And also because I don't have anything else to talk about while I'm waiting for the glue to dry. I'm thirsty. I didn't bring a freaking drink for myself again, like a dummy. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that. It's funny. Alright, I'm going to be right back while I grab something to drink. That was way hotter in here than out there. So I have this new drink that I'm trying because I'm very bad about drinking like super sugary bullshit, and I need to stop that. I'm very bad about drinking water. I hate water. I actually have like a gag reflex whenever I try to drink water. My body's like, no, rejection, not sugary enough. And it makes it like physically hard for me to swallow it, and it can upset my stomach, which is dumb because it's water. It shouldn't do that. But I'm just special, so you know. Alrighty. Thanks for stopping by, Ina. Let me in. I found more foam scraps. Who would have thunked it? Alright, I think we're pretty much good on the gluing here. I'm gonna glue this back together, I think. And then we'll call it good. And then I can start sculpting and slimming this down a little bit more. So, I made the mistake, originally, of tracing the very outline of my drawing, my pattern, and cutting directly on those lines when I made the G-leg pattern. And the reason why that's a mistake is because I forgot to accommodate for the amount of extra, like, I don't know what the word, extra space that's gonna go on the outer surface because of the thickness of the fibers of the fur, if that makes any sense. So when you cover something in fur, it makes it bigger on the surface area because, yeah, obviously fur's got a length to it. It's got like a depth, whatever, of the fibers. It's, you know, it makes it fatter. It's poofier. So what you have to do is make the original like sculpture surface extra skinny. So when you put the fur on top of it, it bulks it out. That's the word I was looking for, bulking. It bulks it out to match the like outer shape that I want. But the outer shape has to be with the fur attached to it. So you have to make everything look a little more anorexic. And that's why this leg is like too thick. There's too much padding. So I'm going to be correcting that by slimming everything down so that when I put fur on it, it'll bulk it back up to kind of the shape I have it now, sort of. Although I am going to make it significantly skinnier on the sides because it has to match up with my new skinny feet. And it does, and that's fine because like my foot is very narrow anyway, so I was like overcompensating how much like width I needed to add to this because I wanted bigger feet, and now I want smaller feet. Like I said, sometimes I don't know exactly what I want until I see it in 3D, and I go, oh, actually. So there is a fellow fursuit maker that has a really interesting, cool technique that incorporates a lot of modern technology. This would be, it's Waggery costumes. Acai is the name that most people know him by, which is one of the suits he owns. He's kind of a relatively newer fursuit maker, and he's not very much like an artist, but he is very like technically minded. So what he does is he does 3D sculpts of the costumes in like 3D modeling, and he has like a three-dimensional pattern making software that is used for like garments, and it simulates cloth dynamics really, really well. And it kind of drapes it over the form and kind of decides like how much, fur texture you can add on top of the drapery fabric pieces that are over the body form. So it's just like a T-posed person that matches the proportions of the client, and then he will make some like patterns, just like fabric patterns, and draft them kind of how he wants, and puts it over the dummy form, and then adds fur on top of that, so we can see how much bulk the fur is adding to the whole structure. And he does all of this pre-planning in 3D space and doesn't have to do any, physical work and test things and see if they fit, or, decide to slim something down later as he's working. Like, he does all the pre-visualization on the computer first. And it's fascinating because he's the only one I know that does anything close to this. And I had done something kind of similar with, again, I draw a silhouette of the person from the side view and the front view, but it's in a 2D space on the computer, and I blow them up to life size and work with it that way. He just does all the patterns and all the visualization in 3D on the computer, and then translate that to 3D in real life. And that's just the way that he understands it with his mind so much easier, and it makes a whole lot of sense. It takes a lot of that guesswork out, and you don't waste a lot of time or materials. You just make it to spec. It's really cool. His whole behind the scenes process is cool. If you saw the documentary about furries that Ash Cody put out really recently, he is featured in there as one of the speakers. And you get to see a little bit of his process. He's got like 3D stuff on the computer and whatever, but yeah, if you're not familiar with Waggery costumes, check him out. He's doing some really interesting things with 3D printing and embroidery, and he casts the foam heads like into these 3D printed molds, and he casts it with the lining while it's still in liquid form, so that he doesn't have to sit there and glue the foam head or hollow anything out to the head form, because the head form is part of the mold with the lining, so it all just kind of one step done. And it's like, how's anybody thought of this before? This is awesome. Like, he's got a really, really neat construction workflow process that is just like, oh, so inspiring. It's cool. That's what I'm talking about. Like, all the new techniques and materials that people have made in the last, like, even just 5 years are just like a game changer to the whole costume making industry. It's cool. It's cool. And but again, yeah, because it's all these things I've learned. It just kind of feels like I'm starting from scratch again. Like I don't know what I'm doing, and it's kind of tough. All right. So I'm gonna put this on my foot one more time now that it's sort of staying in place, and I'm gonna mark where everything should sort of sit. Okay. So I don't like how this is like rotating so much, but I'll just make sure when it comes time to taping the final pattern, then I'll make sure it's unrotated. Okay, leggy. I need a Sharpie. It's over here. Put you back over here. I'm using the camera also a little bit as a mirror, so make sure that it's just sitting in the right place and such. This would be way easier if I was doing it on a dummy and not myself. Okay, so I did pretty good guessing here. I just need to like cut all of this off. Way too thick on the side, and then this. Come in north here. Alright. So. Yeah, my black lines here on the side. That's where I'm gonna like cut it, narrow it all down. I don't know if I can very clearly take a picture of this to understand what the heck I'm doing, but I'm gonna be way more gentle taking this off in the future. I don't want to have to glue that seam back together again or rip anything further because this material is stupid flimsy, as you can see. Okay. Time to cut shape. This how thick, deep this is. Man, this would have been like the perfect thing for an electric knife. But I'll work with what I got. You see, like, all of this was carved out with electric knife. That's why it's got these, like, nice flat areas with these tiny little lines through it. That's the teeth blades making their mark. And it's just so much easier to just, like, carve this nice shape. And also because you can just glide with it, this I have to go and it's just, like, way harder to make things straight. I'm just writing on box cutters. I'm just angry that I have to use one. And I don't know how to use one very well. That's all it is. kind of do this in passes. This is a little trick that I've done with X-Acto knives. Kind of just kind of barely cut a little deep in the surface and just go through passes. Follow the line. This. You can kind of just carve it into butter without having to worry about sawing back and forth. Just like one continuous cut of this. Not near as clean of a cut as a black knife, but it's not terrible. It'll get the job done. Kind of goes way more in there than I intended it to, but that's okay. I will fix it. Kind of doing that thing where I'm cutting out a 45-degree angle to cut off the sharp corner. Make it rounder. So much more chappy than an electric knife, but it will do. And now it's way more skinnier already. Ah! I realize I don't have my chat up right now because I was taking pictures, and then I closed the window. And I put the phone on the chair. It should be in front of me. There we go. There's some thick pieces of glue to cut through on this one. There we go. Get out through all of it. And it's actually not a terrible thing if I cut accidentally too much off. I can always kind of undo things. Oh, more glue. And I do kind of want to make it on the skinnier side than I'm used to doing, just because, like, I haven't worked with fake fur that much, to be perfectly honest. As a fursuit maker, I suck at working with fur. Most of my stuff have been, like, scaly suits. Using really, really short pile furs or minkies or velours or something. And not a lot of long pile fur. This will be the first, like, bodysuit that I've done that uses, like, normal 2-inch long fur, even though I'm going to be shaving it down in a lot of places because it's got stripes, and I want to make sure those stripes are more clearly defined markings. Alright. That is a significantly skinnier leg now. What else is sort of lining up here? Go wide here. Choppy foam. So hard to cut through these dang glue tumors. The way it is, though. Alright. Sort of rounding out this edge. This is very blocky before. Beveling. Feeling that 90 degrees. Oh, bugs are barking again! This time it might be actually people coming home because it's getting kind of late. It's like, what, 7? 7, yeah. I was expecting, you know, to be done, I guess, around this time. Because I just didn't want to, you know, clog up the network and annoy people with talking really loud for the rest of the house, you know, because they would come home from work and then they chill out from the day. So I probably won't be on this much longer just because out of respect for roommates. But I can't get too much super further on this anyway without the duct tape dummy leg form. But that now lines up way better at the base. The ankle. Or, well, more like the toes. This whole thing is like the foot and then ankles up here, but I'm gonna put this on again, because I'm always excited to do that. Ta-da! How many suits do I own? Do I still have Leafy on? I technically own, well, one character, but kind of half of 2 suits. I'll explain in a second. Kind of only one right now, ultimately, which is this griffin, tiger griffin that I'm working on. And I say kind of 1.5 because I have 2 different heads. One that's really realistic and one that's really toony. But I wear the same tail and arm sleeves with both suits. Both versions of the character, so... And the intent of this bodysuit is also to work either with the realistic or toony head. I can just swap it out if I want, you know, a certain look or something over the other. Alright, let me move this up a little bit. And I do not have Leafy on anymore. I donated that one to an aspiring fursuit maker. I think that they were like maybe 13 years old, something like that. Really, really young. Just kind of getting into the fandom and, you know, wanted to kind of be able to get more involved with it. And so I was like, here, I'm not wearing this anymore. I'm retiring the rest of the suit anyway. It's just going to sit on the shelf and I'm never going to wear it again. I wanted to give it to somebody that could actually like appreciate and use it. So I donated it to a local young person. And then the only suits that I have like the head of the original Charizard, the head of the original Aerodactyl, and a slightly deconstructed head of the Shadow Lugia, because the bottom jaw fabric I was going to replace. I took that off, and then never made a new one to put back on. Groudon has been sold to somebody up in Washington, and they were going to refurbish it. And then Sonar, I had a bodysuit for like one event and wanted to like redo it, but then they discontinued the fur that I used on it, so I had to scrap that project and I'd have to start all the way over with refurring the head. And at that point I'd also changed a bunch of the design, body markings and stuff on it, so I'm like, okay, this needs to be just a brand new costume. So I was just wearing it as a partial for a long time, but I just took the fur off of the head base and I sold the head base for somebody to refurbish however they wanted. And so the only suit I have is, yeah, a partial, and that's this Tiger Griffin that I'm working on right now. Which you can see, here's my, I'm gonna pull this like up, actually like, see the rest of my body too. So here's the silhouette, and I'm using the camera as a mirror, so to see kind of if I'm happy with that shape, and I think I am. Come back, it's obviously not attached to like this. Pull it back. And it sits right there. And then from the front, I'm way, way happier with the narrowness of the feet and the this. Yeah, this doesn't need to be sticking out so much. Let's round out a little bit more with that. I think I might make it taper in just a little bit more before it gets to the heel, bring it out a little bit, and then taper this in more. Like this is kind of sticking out, might pull that in, just to kind of give it a little bit more interesting shapes from the front. This also goes up here. And that way if I'm standing kind of like this, you see the little bit of the heel or the hawk kind of sticking out here. I think I might smooth this down here a little bit more. Definitely don't want it so like straight on the back. I think I want to taper that a little bit more too. It's a little bit boxy, but yeah, on this side it looks like it's a little bit more tapered in and it's sticking out a little more on the heel. And I like that look better. Yeah, you see that's a pretty good shape. Yeah. And then I will have like obviously the foot's gonna be attached to a shoe, but I am gonna try the whole separation at the ankle, where it like snaps around the bottom of the shoe, because I want to be able to swap out the feet. I want to build a pair of feet specifically to go on top of some snowboard boots, so I can wear the whole costume while snowboarding. Because right now I just wear it as a partial when snowboarding, which is, you know, convenient and comfy, but I want to be able to do the full bodysuit as an option. So having the swappable feet that way would be a lot more helpful. Alright, now kind of from the back view, here's this. And I like it from the back, how, you know, it gets a little bit wider at the base and it tapers more to the ankle. I think this is a really good view. Also, I got my big old butt. You can see it gives me a lot more of a butt than I actually have. It really makes give me some haunches. Like, yeah. Give me some nice animal haunches. That's what I want. Like this is a good grabbable shape right here. This is what we want. You can see I kind of did carve in a little bit of a buttocks muscle there. Like, Because I couldn't help myself. I was just like, oh yeah, we need to do this. This is the good shit right here. So, yay! I'm happy with this. We're good, good. I'm very curious where the heck my roommates are. I wonder if they messaged me and I didn't notice because I'm doing this. I'm gonna figure out what's going on. So, I do not have sonar. And now I'm reading the chat. I can see a little bit better. Looks like I answered that question for you, so okay, cool. So, yeah, lastly, I can kind of show, like, while we're going to unplug the hot a little bit, because I don't think it even work today. This is another project, actually, I'll probably do on stream in the near future. So, my poor realistic bird, as you can see, had an accident, and the tip of the beak has been broken off. Again, this is the second time, actually. The first time was TSA, when I was coming back from Canada. Somebody must have just, like, taken it out to inspect it, because I had, like, a nastygram little, we inspected your bag card in there when I opened it up, and I found the beak shattered, very similar to this. Somebody probably looked at it, and then dropped it, and because it's front heavy, it probably went right on the beak. But this happened because I was cleaning my craft room, and I just knocked it off the table like a dummy. But, so yeah, I gotta fix poor beak, and I gotta do some paint touch-ups. You can see it's like wearing down on the edge here, and I got this wear spot there on the top, and I gotta reseal that with something nicer so it stays together better. And then I have to finish airbrushing this. This is not airbrushed at all. I never finished that, which doesn't look terrible considering that it's not ever been done, but it's missing a lot of markings. You can see on the Toonie version, it's supposed to have like some stripes to get some of that tigerness to come through on the cheeks, on the eyebrows, and on the backs of the ears. And then on the back side, it's also got these stripes that kind of come off the side for the back. And I decided those markings are really small and tight, so I wanted to do the big markings out of the fur, but I'd airbrush all the edges of where the markings meet, and then I'd airbrush all those extra stripes and stuff on. So like on the back side of this is also, you know, just straight down instead of that cool stripes on the back. Obviously for the Toonie one, I had to sew in all the stripes because there was going to be no airbrushing involved at all. So I had to make sure everything was like really, really clean. But they're intended to be the same character. So yeah, I gotta finish actually, you know, airbrushing. Oh yeah, and then the little feathery dots on the front are also missing on the realistic one. Another thing I wanted to airbrush. Turn this more toward me so I don't have to hold it out so far. And then lastly, on the inside here, this has completely shattered. This was built off a base made by Christooms. So I wasn't the one that cast the base. But I did do a lot of custom sculpting work before I covered it in fabric and stuff. But it had a little bit of a thin spot on the edge of the mask. I'm gonna try to show you here. Alright, so right here, it's kind of backwards for me, so I'm gonna try to figure out where the oh, God. This is hard. Okay, here it is. Found it. Okay, so yeah, you can see clearly this is broken. It's supposed to be... God damn it. Oh, it's supposed to go on this side. Okay. I mean, clearly you can see something's wrong, but, yeah. So that's the part where it's broken off. So this is supposed to be attached, here, like this. Supposed to be attached here. And this was incredibly thin. You see how thin that is? So that needs to come back together like that. And then this is just like some really dumb loose cheek padding. But it also broke at the top here. It's just like, the glue didn't adhere very well to the platform in there. So this whole hinge needs to just basically go back into place so that I actually have on this side, and then I actually have the moving jaw back, because it's very herker-durker right now instead of this. It's too much side-to-side movement. Now, I can still wear it and stuff. It just doesn't line up super well. It's not super responsive. And the eyeballs were never this is not the final eyeballs. These are like the temporary eyeballs, and you can see, like, I got a ton of glue on it. Like, this is all glue that's, like, leaked onto it from the outside. These are just, like, temporary things. So I need to take these out and put the actual pupils airbrush onto the back fabric that goes behind the eyes to make them look kind of... They're, like, black from a distance, but when you get up really close, so you see it in the light, falcon's eye, or at least this species of falcon, is brown. So I wanted to be able to give that pupil just a very subtle hint of pupil, so that it gives it a little bit more of a live, friendly kind of a look, instead of just black, soulless eyes that, you know. Also, these fog up really, really bad, so I have to, like, constantly wipe them down. And I have a tiny little fan, you could probably see, in the top roof of the muzzle there. Or the beak, it's not really a muzzle. And that's essential, otherwise I get blind in this thing, because I actually see through the eyeballs as well as the mesh here, and out through the mouth. Those are like my 3 areas, but that fogs up so quickly, like 10 minutes, if I don't have the fan on, I can't see anything because it's just too hot. So I want to improve some of that. Yeah, there's a bunch of little things I need to tweak on this. Poor baby. Poor baby. And it needs a brushing really bad. But it looks good from a distance, and it looks good in photos. So I never really worried about it. But I made this in 2017. Kind of on a whim. I did it in like 3 weeks for BLFC. This one, I had 1 week to do. Because it got lost in the mail. And I wanted to get it done in time for a ski trip, so half the ski trip I spent, like, staying up all night finishing, like, shaving it and stuff. But I made it. I made it work, and this is the nicest head that I've ever made. And half of it was also Jess's help. She did all the EVA foam. This is made out of foam, if you're not aware. So if I crash on the mountain face plant, then I'm not going to break myself or the costume. And it's got padding inside that's very much inspired by a motorcycle helmet. But like I said, this is EVA foam, so you can build it so much more open. It's not like a balaclava or like a head sock that's very, like, close to your face. Oh man, I don't know if you can see this at all. Move this over. Okay. It's very, very open in there. And it's got some padding along the top. Oh my god. This is, like, not easy. Yeah, it's got this very squishy padding that sits across the top of the head. And I can show you how all of this is made. It's on my Patreon. It's got, like, a head thing, and then it's also got this this back flap of foam that sits behind your head, like along the back here. Gives you some extra shape to the curvature of the backs of that in the neck with the head. Something that is lacking in my realistic head. It's very flat in the back, and I hate it. This fixed that problem for me. And then it's got the chin rest, which is pretty easy to see. This. Yeah. So it's very, very open in there. It's comfortable. I got good vision. You can see big old eyes. And that's why I wanted to make this for, like, snowboarding in. Because I wanted something a little better designed for it than sonar. And in some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse. I live and learn, I guess. Put this back to where it needs to be. So anyway, birds. I have my burps. My burps can just chill out back there now. So yeah, this whole bodysuit project's been a long time coming. I'm excited to kind of work on it again. This was fun. A fun streaming day. Sometimes art is not fun, especially when you're, like, forcing yourself to work, right? But yeah. Leggies. I could even potentially just I debated this for a little while. Make it, because I'm building this as a pattern, so I can make multiple of them if I want. So, And I was thinking, and that way I could make a version which is just a half suit. So I could just wear like a normal t-shirt or something. Put the arm sleeves on and have the tail, you know, very much like a partial, except the bottom half is all digilegs. So when you're wearing a full suit, the parts that accumulate the most heat typically is going to be the core of your body and your hands, because you got a lot of like sweat glands in those areas, and that's where like a lot of your heat like concentrates in a suit. The legs are one of the cooler spots, unless you have like a ridiculous amount of thick padding. Typically, if you're like overheating in suit, the head obviously is going to be a problem. Take the head off and you just zip the front and you kind of let your arms floofs, but you kind of have the lower half still on. You could really just to chill out in the fursuit lounge. You don't need to worry about the bottom half. You don't need to come out completely out of the suit in order to cool off. Like just unzipping the top half and taking the head off makes like a humongous difference. So half suiting is a way to kind of have the best of both worlds, because like I mentioned, it's a lot easier for me if I'm performing in like full character, but it's also like a lot more work. You can't last as long because you get really hot and it's really tiring, and it just takes a lot more dedication, whereas a partial is really, really casual. So that way you can have a lot more comfort and be a little bit more casual, but you still can kind of channel the character and the acting because you have non-human legs. That's a huge thing for me. I've always been a huge fan of digigrade. I would not be able to perform as well in a plantigrade suit unless the species was intended or meant to be plantigrade. I just looked over and I noticed that the lizard's hammock fell down, and he's just sort of chilling there vertically, kind of like making the most of it, but not moving. Snugs! What are you doing? I have to rescue the lizard. Hold on. Snugs, you knocked your hammock down. I need to get something wet. And I gotta re-stick this suction cup. This is very, very, it has like no sugar in it. It's pretty much water with a little bit of flavoring, so I'll just use that to wet this suction cup. Probably need to have the glass cleaned, huh? Alright. There you go! Now you have a hammock again. You dummy. That's better, huh? Probably could raise the one on the back side a little bit more too, but he doesn't really care that much. As you can see, he's just like, give no fucks. Alright, they're barking like crazy now. Somebody's definitely home at this point. So I'm gonna kind of go back to neutral position here and kind of wrap things up for today. That's where it normally belongs. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out and being part of the final boring stream. And I say that only in the sense of it's boring because I don't have all the affiliate features, because from now on it's going to be like so much more exciting and dynamic and cool. I mean, hopefully that's like the goal. Yeah, and I'm going to be overhauling a bunch of the features and cool things that you could do in the stream and stuff. It'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to this for like a couple weeks now. It's exciting that I'm finally at that point where I could do things. Let me catch up a little bit on the chat here. I need to ask, why is it that when why is it the use of real animal fur a bad thing? Oh, okay, so a lot of things I could say about this actually, because I have a taxidermy friend who has made fursuits using bits of actual real animal fur. So the major problem is going to, well, two major problems. Ah! Ah! Actually, it's over here. Zeroki! tips $1, said, great stream, thank you. Thank you! Thank you, friend. You always know how to make my streams full of interruptions and craziness. I really appreciate it. It would not be the same without you. That's the truth. Okay, so, real fur. Real fur is attached to skin of an animal, right? That has been tanned. It's turned into leather. And that shit is just negative in breathability. There is no pores in which air and moisture can escape. So if you're wearing a suit made of real animal fur, you will just overheat like mad. And you will probably start to smell rather quickly because the combination of animal musk in the fur fibers and the oils of the skin that's still there, and then your own body sweat is going to accumulate too. So it has this distinct odor to it, and you know there's just nothing you could do to kind of get rid of the animal smell to it. The other major problem is that animals are much smaller as far as the outer surface of their bodies compared to a person. If you're trying to put a person inside the animal, well, it's not exactly gonna fit, because like my wrist is significantly bigger than like a fox's wrist, you know, because a fox is this big. So if you're trying to like build a fox out of fox fur, you're gonna need to like splice pieces from like 10 foxes together in order to make it big enough of a surface area to wrap around your body. And every time you have one of those seams to like expand it out bigger, it's gonna look a little weird, but it's also not gonna be very structurally sound, because every time you have a seam going through a piece of like leather, it's puncturing a permanent hole when you're like sewing it. Whereas you're working with like cloth fibers, you know, it's made up a lot of tiny holes. You're actually putting the needle in between where the fibers of the holes are. When you punch something through leather, that hole is there permanently, and it puts a lot of stress on that tiny hole. So the more holes, you know, you could spread the the force that's pulling at these seams. You know, if you spread it out more, then it gives it a bigger surface area in which to grab onto. If you put them too close together, they have a tendency to tear in between each one of those holes. You have to be careful. It depends on the quality of the leather and how thick it is. If it is really, really thin, then you're going to have an issue of it tearing permanently. And so you have to be really careful just in that sense. And then the same thing, like I said, you're not going to have the right proportions to match the human body because most animals are smaller. It's going to look strange, especially when you're doing places like the faces and things, unless you're working with a bigger animal, like let's say I don't know, like an elk or something, you know, then you could probably try to push those proportions a little bit better. That's why you see like shamans, for example, you know, they a lot of times would have pelts of animals and they would wear them decoratively, like as headdresses or, you know, as shawls, things like that. It's sort of just like draped on them, you know, or like a bear, you know, like you could think of like a bear headdress, you know, where it's just like the top half of the bear is kind of sitting on top of your head. But it's hard to enclose the head entirely over a person's head unless the animal's big enough. So to kind of just like make it bigger, I mean, it just makes way more sense to use fake fur, which can emulate the look, if you're really skilled, of a real creature without any of the drawbacks of using real fur. There's probably a lot more other issues, and I'm not even touching, like, the ethical issues of that whatsoever. Because, like, I personally don't really have a lot of problem with taxidermy as an art form itself. It just kind of depends on, like, how you source the animal, you know, how you're using it, you know, things like that. But in general, I think it's a really cool art form. It takes a lot of skill, and it's neat to sort of, like, preserve something, you know. Like, I also think, like, the Body Worlds exhibits that uses, you know, like skinned people and stuff on display is awesome. So, you know. The only difference is that those people donated their bodies to sciences and will certainly have a say. So, I don't like the idea of like intentionally killing an animal for the intent of having a taxidermy or using its pelt, you know. But if you're doing it from a hunter's perspective with like a license, or it was something that was accidentally killed, like it got hit by a car, something like that, you know, like no problem. In fact, that's probably the best like way you can kind of honor the animal, is just kind of give it new life in the form of art. But anyway, but to use it in a fursuit, it's just not ideal. It's just not. And you can use bits and pieces. Like, it's really cool if you're doing kind of like, let's say you wanted to do something more like being a shaman or being like a berserker or something like that. Kind of have a fantasy element. Or you have like, you're wearing a real foxtail, or you have like a belt, like a kilt made of different animal hides and things like that. Like, it's fine to incorporate stuff into a costume, but to do a fully enclosed fursuit, no, get NFT fur and pay the big bucks, and you can make it look as real as like possible, like Hollywood level style. Like, there's the skills in this fandom of people that will do that kind of stuff. So
warm in here.
I know it is. I'm almost done. I'm wrapping up because I want to escape. Scape. Also, welcome home. Also, Crystal says hi. Crystal, one of my people in the stream that supports me on Patreon, and at one point I think donated some money for us to get food one time. Something like that. They just wanted me to tell you hi when you got home, so I'm doing that.
Hi. I have the respiratories from the freezing cold, which is Texas right now.
Oh, Texas!
So I'm gonna go grab them real quick. I got set up a pen for them.
Okay. I can help you in a second. Excuse me. Anyway, so I'm done talking about animal fur. And yeah, if you want to know more about like good examples of taxidermy being incorporated into fursuits, check out my friend Zon, Z-H-O-N, Zon Creations. Specifically, I think she only really uses Facebook, and at one point used DeviantArt. She's about the only person that does anything taxidermy related in full costumes, and does it well because she is a professional taxidermist as her living. So yeah. Is it not scary as bees to be snowboard half blind while in suit head? Yes and no. The worst is when there's not enough sun, because it makes the entire slope look like a single shade of gray, and you can't see the contours in the snow. You have to do it while it's sunny out, or you are blind even if you can see. And that goes without, you know, wearing like ski goggles. They have like the orange kind of filtered lens on it too that really helps make the contours of the snow stand out. If you're wearing a fursuit mask, yeah, you've kind of got this like sunglasses effect because you got the perforated plastics or mesh that you're seeing out of. So it makes everything kind of darker to begin with. So if there's no sun, now you can't see the contours in the snow, and it's like wearing sunglasses, so you're like, it's really sketchy. You have no confidence on your feet, and you're just like, God, please get me off this mountain right now. Because I've done it like, not in quite blizzard conditions, but it was snowing really hard. And it was hard to get down. At one point, I ended up on one run, I was like, screw this. Took my head off, gave it to my dad, and said, I have to ski this down the rest of the way like this. And it sucked because it was blowing snow, and I couldn't see. I had to like constantly be blinking and switching between my eyes, so I wasn't blind, because there's nothing protecting my face. I didn't have my goggles, because it was attached to my helmet, which was in the car. So, good times. It's just practice and a little bit of bravery, I guess. Because, yeah. But if it's a nice, gorgeous day and there's sun, typically not a problem. Okay. So, yeah, like a little past 7:30. I'm going to wrap this up for today. Thank you guys again so much from here. Actually, I really want to be able to, like, raid somebody. So, I'm going to show you if there's anybody that's on that I kind of been following that we could go raid. And if anybody has suggestions, you know, let me know. Let's see. Oh, 6-leaf clover is on and mango pop-tart is on. I think that you guys will really like 6-leaf clover's art because holy shit, she does some great stuff if you're not familiar with her work. I'm going to throw everybody onto there. If you want to continue the streaming party, that is a recommended artist that I'd like you to check out. So we'll do that real quick. They do say the channel is intended for mature audiences, but they're not drawing anything mature right now, so don't worry about it. It's like a dinosaur, like a dragon guy holding a gun right now. It's very like sci-fi looking. It's really cool, and she does beautiful paintings. Alrighty, I will see you guys probably next week. Thank you. Goodbye. Come on, let me raid. Why isn't the button working? There it goes.
Hopefully it is going good for you guys. How was your stream? I am doing concept sketches today. So, what you see here are my lizard people, lizard folk. They are from outer space and they do wear many different and fun things. Ah, building a digigrade fursuit legs. Nice. Yeah, doing digigrade is pretty tough. And if you love sharing your stuff, you can feel free to join my Discord, and I would love to see it. No problem, I do give you a follow back. In the event you are streaming after me, there's always an attempt at doing some raids. Raftalar, thank you for the follow. Oh, we did. Oh, it's been such a whole year since that Denver. I think I remember now. Yes. It feels like a million years ago. Okay, Ruth's after party. Yeah, thank you for the raid. Anytime. Yeah, I finally got back to doing my art today. So I have something to stream. I was working on a fursuit thing myself, and eventually I'll get through that. We got a nice big 3D printer, and I can totally do my fursuit heads a little better now. Yeah, eventually you'll see some fursuit things from me, aside from my artwork.